2025.
We're not independently wealthy here. We run on loyalty and love. We don't necessarily run on an abundance of cash. So I would need that time to certainly raise the money, which means I would need to make a decision early on in 2025.
She says for now she'll be focused on her job as mayor. Too close to call. Quinnipiac out with a national poll of likely voters, placing Republican Donald Trump at 48% and Democrat Kamala Harris at 47%. That's in a race involving other candidates. In a two-way race, they're tied at 48%. The margin of error, 2.4%. Nearly two-thirds of likely voters would like to see another presidential debate. Almost 75% are concerned about violence following the outcome of the election. President Biden says the U.S. must not retreat from the world.
The president used his final speech before the UN General Assembly to offer a message of hope amid wars in the Middle East and Europe.
Things can get better.
But as his administration nears an end, he acknowledged repeated attempts to end the war in Gaza and bring the hostages home have so far failed, and the suffering continues.
I've met with the families of those hostages. I've grieved with them. They're going through hell. Innocent civilians in Gaza are also going through hell.
As he spoke, a new round of Israeli airstrikes aimed for Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Israel says it killed the top Hezbollah commander with a strike in Beirut. Thousands of residents are leaving southern Lebanon as Israeli strikes continue. The BBC's Daniel D. Simone has that.
Thousands of Lebanese people have been fleeing to other areas of Lebanon, Beirut, the capital, but also further north, because I think people in Beirut also don't feel safe. We've seen a number of airstrikes in Beirut.
The death toll from a massive Israeli bombing campaign starting yesterday is now at almost 560. Tropical storm Helene forms in the Caribbean. It could become a major hurricane while moving north towards the U.S. Florida declaring a state of emergency in dozens of counties. A tropical storm warning has been issued for part of the Florida Keys. After months of planning, West Hartford will take on a major upgrade of its town center. It will be funded in part through American Rescue Plan funds, according to town manager Rick Ledwith.
Initially, we set aside $3.8 million of ARPA funds back in 2021. As we've moved through this process and worked with our consultants, we realized that wasn't nearly enough to fund even the smaller of the two projects. So the council did allocate $10 million of ARPA funds for the center renovation.
The plan includes streetscape and sidewalk upgrades. Access will be improved for people on bikes and pedestrians. Mobility hubs will be installed to connect to different modes of transportation. Ledwith says the project will go out to bid, with work most likely starting next year. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 3 points. S&P is plus 9 points. NASDAQ is up 83. And we check the WTIC forecast.
For the rest of the afternoon, it'll be mostly cloudy, the high of 69. Tonight, remaining mostly cloudy, a mild night, the low down to 53. Probably want to take your umbrella when you head out for Wednesday. We'll have low clouds with a couple of showers later in the afternoon, the high of 70. And Thursday, keep that umbrella handy. Another cloudy day with a couple of showers, the high back to 70. Friday, partly sunny, warmer and less humid to round out the week, the high of 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
66 and cloudy now. Sports, the Red Sox in Toronto tonight. Pregame just after 6 on WTIC. The Yankees can clinch the AL East. They host Baltimore, the Mets in Atlanta. Bobby Meacham of the Yard Goats, the Eastern League Manager of the Year. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Eric Miner from Miners Incorporated in Canton, Connecticut.
Eric used to have an in-house IT staff, but not anymore.
Certainly the difference between when we did it ourselves and having Tab do it now is that they certainly know more about what they're doing than we ever did.
Not only does Eric get IT expertise, Tab Computer Systems doesn't tie him or his company's funds to a long-term contract.
Tab has been good at helping us to do what we do well and what we need to do well,
which is sell building supplies and lumber. With Tab's monthly service plan, Eric's company has its own IT department that has to earn his business each month.
I would not hesitate at all to recommend Tab Computer Systems to a assists any small business out there.
No long-term contracts. Just another reason to call TAB today. 1-888-TAB-4-HELP. 1-888-TAB-4-HELP. Or visit tabinc.com. Technology's advancing business. TAB Computer Systems.
Dan Andelman here. You probably know me as the Phantom Gourmet guy, so you know I love food. But to be honest, after years of sampling every dish under the sun, it was...
1 minute.
Toll on my health.
Thank you, sir.
Now listen, I'm not going to completely give up all my favorite foods, and that's where Awaken 180 comes in. 3 weeks in, and I'm already down 18 pounds, and I'm still hitting up plenty of great restaurants. The difference is that I'm making smarter choices, tweaking some recipes, and I'm saving up for my grand finale, because once I hit my goal of losing 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, it's a whole new ball game. All foods are back on the menu, baby. Awaken 180 isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle change. They've helped me understand my body and my metabolism. And of work, anybody can do it. So if you're ready to transform your relationship with food, do what I did and call the solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Do you think God knew what he was doing when he created woman? Huh? Or do you think it was just another one of his minor mistakes like tidal waves, earthquakes, floods? You don't think God makes mistakes? Of course he does. We all make mistakes. We make mistakes, they call it evil. God makes mistakes, they call it nature. So what do you think? Women, a mistake? Or did he do it to us on purpose? Because I really want to know. Because if it's a mistake, maybe we can do something about it. Find a cure. Invent a vaccine. Build up our immune systems.
Yeah. And welcome, folks. September the 24th, 2024. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I told you I was going to do a monologue today about women and this election. And this election is really, at least from what everyone else is talking about, prognosticators, the poll takers, that it is really going to hinge on women, whether or not Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is going to be the new commander-in-chief. And I love that monologue. By the way, you got an opportunity to win a Reese on the Radio t-shirt right now. Go to reeseontheradio.com. If you can name the film that monologue was from, put it in right now. By the time the commercial break comes on, if you can go to reeseontheradio.com, just go to reeseontheradio.com, go into the comment section, and tell me what the name of that film was, and I'll get you a Reese on the Radio t-shirt. Anyway, that being said, women, you will be the deciding factor, as you always are. In everything that has to do with this country, women are the key. You always have been. Men have to come to terms. Single guys, you've got to figure it out too. Everything you do in life, and, if they are your persuasion, that is, you will do because of a woman. Your legacy, whether or not you have children, whether or not you have something to pass on generations for generations, will rely on a woman. They are the key to everything. In fact, many men will tell you today it is the reason why they do the things that they do. Go to a crappy job. Some of them have even fought wars. They have. It's just a way of life. Everything we do in life is for the fair sex. The car we drive, the money we make. To do what? So that we can share our lives with what can only be described as the most mysterious being known to man. A woman. And sometimes, and times like these, we have to investigate. We have to ask ourselves the question, what is the modern woman thinking come election time? What are the important things that a woman goes to the polling places for? Now, I know that there are some women out there who are going to pick their presidential candidate based upon the gender. I'm not going to argue with you whether or not those people or those women are reasonable. I'm not. It's unnecessary. They're not. But I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to get into the weeds. I want to know, and women, maybe you can help me today. Maybe you can help all of us men understand what is important in this election. Because from what I understand, modern women today are in charge of the purse strings. They're like Congress in our house. They make the decisions on how we spend our money, what's important in our lives. Men, unless there are some guys out there, and I'm sure there are, but you're a small, minute group who actually take care of the finances, pay all the bills, make sure all the food is in the house, does all the shopping. You're minute. This is predominantly a woman. It's just the way that it is. I don't care how modern the world is today. We rely on women to make these decisions. And right now, we have some situations that are very detrimental to women. And it ain't abortion, ladies and gentlemen. It's budgets. It's budgetary. These women go to the supermarkets. They know what the prices of things are as opposed to what they were. They know what the cost of living is as opposed to what they were. And they're also concerned about their safety. And they know what it was like before versus now. They are very concerned. But yet I'm looking at some of these numbers, and what am I learning? That some women don't care about the purse strings as much. They don't care about their safety as much. They don't even seem to be that concerned about the welfare of their young daughters or their nieces when it comes to their education or their, let's say, sports endeavors. More and more women are concerned about gender roles. Or am I wrong? Now, I believe that some of those women who don't care about those things are single, a little older, beyond their childbearing years. Usually not very fond of men or their role as providers. They see men as misogynists. They see men as toxic. There is a large and growing number of women who are like this, some of them even younger. Some women have turned themselves into these independent creatures who say they don't need no man. You know who I'm talking about. They don't need no man. Unless it's necessary, like he's a baller, he makes six figures, drives a nice car. Whatever. He's not useful unless he has a dime. But I think, honestly, that they've got it all wrong. The statisticians, the people who are doing the polling, the news media, I think they've got it all wrong. I think that there is a growing number of women who are starting to realize that they've been taken for granted by the one group who said that they had their back for so long, since the 60s, that they're realizing that the world that they were told they were going to get, that they were going to be promised from the 1960s in the sexual revolution, doesn't exist because there was no intent, that they were used and abused by a group of people who were going to give them this utopia. And I think what exposed it, ladies and gentlemen, was the childless cat lady's comment. I think that resonated more than anything. You would think something bigger, something broader. No. Have you been with a woman? I have. Women care very, very much about what you say and the tone in which you say it. It may be flippant, but sometimes a phrase can pierce through a person, especially a woman. That isn't to demean you. It's something that we understand and recognize. And ladies, if you're listening, you know it's true. Childless cat ladies hurt. That's why you can't stop talking about it. It's why you're using it now. You're using it as some sort of like bludgeon to use back on conservative men. Yeah, the childless cat ladies are no, you're not. It's not the new N-word, ladies. It's not. You hate this term because you understand what it sounds like. You knew or know a childless cat lady in the neighborhood, and everyone despises that woman. And you're being recognized as that, and you don't want to be known for that. You want somebody to revere you for deciding to not have children or abort as many as you can. You want to be celebrated for being the last. You'll die old and alone. No man gave me anything. But there is something innate in you, just like there's something innate in all of us, men. We feel a sense of worth, accomplishment, value in sharing what we have, what we've obtained, what we've grown. We believe that in order for us to exist or to have any form of, maybe it's ridiculous eternity, but you know what I mean, a legacy, is by sharing that with someone else, growing that, having a child, that child bearing your name, that in some way we get to live on through that creation. What these women are upset about with the childless cat lady is they know it means, it's defined as an end. Useless, empty, vapid, shallow. But I could be wrong. I doubt it. So when women go out to the polling places and they're saying they're pulling that lever for women, what else is left afterwards? I mean, is it like eating a Twinkie? Is it an empty calorie that you feel good about afterwards? Because let's say you get what you want, and let's say all hell breaks loose. Let's say it all goes down the toilet. What would you have accomplished afterwards that you can share with a bunch of childless cat ladies that you did it? Oh my goodness, we did it. We elected a woman. She blew the whole damn thing up, but what the hell? We got an attaboy. Oh, I'm sorry, attagirl. I don't believe any of that is true. I believe that there are women out there, and I know the activist class out there. I know you really, really want that woman to win. But I know you're smarter than this. I know that you want a legacy for yourself, and guess what? I know you want to be able to pay for things. I know that you want to be safe. I know that you want your family to be safe, and I know deep down inside, I don't care how many abortions you've had, every time you see a baby at the mall, you go, "Aw, because you're like the rest of us, normal. So I refuse to fall into this trap that you are going to put your livelihoods, your neighborhoods, hell, your sanity into the basket of she's a woman. But you know what? I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I sincerely doubt it. I'll take one phone call. Why not? This one's perfect. He was just waiting. Let's go to Tim in Hamden. Hi, Tim. How can we suit your liberal needs today?
Well, my liberal needs today are the news that Mayor Aaron Stewart, very popular mayor of New Britain, is not running for re-election.
And why is this surprising to you?
Well, no, my surprise is the fact that she may be running for governor under the Republican Party, and she's pro-choice, and she's moderate, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And once again, the Republican Party in this state, try to find some old white man with millions and millions of dollars? Will they look to a woman who's been very successful, or will they just reject her out of hand?
Why do you think? Well, wait a minute. Hold on. What would be the message that they send if they accept her, based on the fact that she's a moderate female Republican? What message does it send?
Well, since what's her name?
Please don't make this about somebody else. We're talking about the New Britain mayor. What does it say about her if they elect a moderate Republican woman? Because you said everything that it says if they don't.
Or as
a candidate.
Or as for governor.
If she runs.
It would be very, very interesting if the Republican Party, which has been, two times for this one, they lose, all sorts of money and all that sort of stuff. It might be a shift away from the MAGA movement.
But what effect would it have? But see, this is the part I don't understand. What effect would it have if she was a pro-choice governor of Connecticut? It wouldn't affect policy in the state. If she was, let's say she was pro-life. Let's say she was pro-life. How could she affect the legislature in the state if she had won?
If she was pro-life, she would never get elected.
No. Again, let's say, look, nothing's impossible. Let's say she was pro-life and she won. What would be the threat in that?
If she won, that would signal a tremendous shift in the state.
Please explain to me what the shift would be. Let's say she's elected and she's a pro-life governor. What would it affect as far as abortion law in the state?
There would be a possible shift. If that's, like I say, she would have defeated probably.
Have I stumped you?
Democratic. Pardon me?
Have I stumped you? Because I don't think that her pro-life or pro-choice stance means nothing if she's elected. Because even if she were pro-life and she was elected, it wouldn't affect the legislature. It wouldn't affect the law of abortion in this state. It wouldn't.
Well,
you know that.
She would have probably defeated a pro-choice Democrat. So it would have. There'd be
okay. So let's say she did. But my point is that whether you get a pro-choice or a pro-life candidate in the governorship, it doesn't affect the law in the state at all. So it's really just window dressing if you think about it. Right?
Well, it would be, you could definitely, chew away at the edges and all that sort of stuff, make it harder and harder, across the board. If she was, and she would have to have
she'd have to have a majority.
People.
Right. She'd have to have the majority in the legislature.
I'll just leave you with this. I don't think the Republican Party in this state is ready, number one, for a serious, middle-of-the-road Republican who might, be popular across the state.
Why wouldn't they be?
Look who they've.
So because of who they chose for president, you don't think that they could possibly
not president for Senate.
Okay,
Senate
again,
race,
so for Senate, okay, so for Senate, you think that the Republican Party in the state has gone so far right that someone like her, a moderate, couldn't possibly be elected.
Couldn't get the nomination.
And
Yeah,
again,
couldn't
because
get the
you
nomination.
believe that the Republican Party only wants far-right extremists, if I'm getting your tone.
It seems to be, well, the Senate race, instead of having somebody with experience, they chose a woman with no experience but had a lot of money and stuff, and that sort of thing. So I don't think that they want that. I think, they're a very, very small party, and they're not going to do it. I just wanted to throw that out because it was very newsworthy of today.
I don't think it's newsworthy at all because, again, she's not running until 26. I think this is a jump the gun. No, there's a likelihood she's going to run for governor, but I think that's what she's doing is wisely getting a ground game that's going to be more than a year, and that will probably get her some momentum into the 26 election. But if you think this is news just because it's news, you're wrong. I think it's just news. I think it's news because it's Connecticut. No, Tim.
Yes.
I understand it. I understand what you think news is, but trust me when I tell you, having done this too long, it's not news. It's just, listen, it's not news. Not yet. It becomes news. It becomes news after we get into 2025. It's like celebrating, what is it? It's like celebrating Halloween after the 4th of July. It's a little too early.
Well, have you ever been directly involved with a political campaign?
In fact, several. In fact, not only have I been involved in them, both of my candidates won.
Okay, all right. I just shared a difference. So I don't want to dominate the show. Have a great day.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. We'll read your comments in a little bit, and I like to.
Hard to dominate when you're losing.
I like to thank everybody for your comments in there because I'm pretty sure that you have some opinions. So we'll take them in a little bit. So stick around. More news, more views. We'll talk about this, women and this presidential election. Will they vote for Donald Trump or will they vote based on gender? What do you think? And I've got a great article in the Hartford Courant that sort of plays in this. We'll put that a part of the 5 o'clock focus. All right, so it's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hamden, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app.
It's great to have neighbors you can count on.
You smoked his boots today, dog.
You've been able to count on the law.
Say you smoked his boots today.
For professional legal counsel, from family law and business to property disputes and personal injury claims. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and are your neighbors. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a law firm. Visit us at bpslawyers.com. Nick Payne Dearest is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm John Oran, Puck's sports correspondent, and I have a new podcast called The Varsity, where I will take you inside the executive suites and owners' boxes that run the entire sports business. Twice a week, I will bring on the smartest people I know to break down the hottest topics in sports media and give you a window into the inside conversations that are happening throughout sports media. So be sure to follow and listen to the Varsity Podcast, available now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Men, though it really does go without saying, practicing better medicine almost always means better outcomes for patients. And if you suffer with erectile dysfunction, you certainly want a good outcome. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And because we do practice better medicine, we're the leader in treating men's sexual health issues in the Northeast. ED is a terrible condition. It causes stresses in relationships. It creates anxiety and undue hardships on a man and often on their partner as well. Yet many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But I want to tell you today that you can be free of ED. Seriously, if you're like most men, the treatments we offer at Northeast Men's Health will work for you. In fact, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means you can likely enjoy great sex again without the stress that ED can create. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
And now, a WTIC news update.
66 degrees at 3:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Going up to the upper 60s and cloudy this afternoon. low around 50 tonight. Trouble on the roads. I-91 South and Windsor locks closed. There's an overturned vehicle with serious injuries reported. The highway closed for the investigation, according to state police. Again, that's I-91 South in Windsor locks closed in the area of exit 40. The longtime mayor of New Britain is not seeking re-election. Republican Erin Stewart says now is the time for new leadership in the city. Stewart is in her 6th term. She tells WTNH TV she's leaning towards a run for governor in 2026. In an online post, she says for now, she's focused on serving out the last year plus of her term.
Perhaps I'll run for higher office. Maybe I'll enter the private sector. Those answers are still unknown for me at this juncture, but I can't figure that out until I close the book on this chapter.
Stewart says she's proudest of turning around the city's finances. Waterbury police arrest a teenager for an apparent threat made to city schools. Late last night, detectives were told of a threatening post on social media referencing several schools. A 13-year-old was arrested, accused of issuing that message. They face charges of threatening and breach of peace. President Biden says the U.S. must not turn to isolationism. He addressed the UN General Assembly for the last time, calling for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
Bring the hostages home. Ensure security for Israel and Gaza free of Hamas grip. Ease the suffering in Gaza and end this war.
He emphasized continued U.S. and Western support for Ukraine. Biden says he's hopeful for the future. Israel says it killed a top Hezbollah commander with a strike in Beirut. The BBC's Daniel D. Simone has that.
They say they killed Ibrahim Kabisi, who they describe as head of the rockets and missiles division of Hezbollah. They say he'd been involved in Hezbollah since the 1980s and was a senior member of the group.
The death toll from a massive Israeli bombing campaign in Lebanon starting yesterday is now at almost 560. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Dow Jones is up 53 points, S&P climbing 10 points, NASDAQ is up 79. And we check the WTIC forecast.
For the rest of the afternoon, it'll be mostly cloudy, the high of 69. Tonight, remaining mostly cloudy, a mild night, the low down to 53. Probably want to take your umbrella when you head out for Wednesday. We'll have low clouds with a couple of showers later in the afternoon, the high of 70. And Thursday, keep that umbrella handy. Another cloudy day with a couple of showers, the high back to 70. Friday, partly sunny, warmer and less humid to round out the week, the high of 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
66 now. Red Sox in Toronto pregame just after 6 p.m. on WTIC. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
With Aer Lingus and Bradley International Airport, your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Fly non-stop from Hartford to Dublin with great fares available now. And since Dublin is our European hub, make your trip 20 times more fun with connections to over 20 cities across Europe, including London, Paris and Rome. From epic coastlines to city tram lines, you can explore it all. Visit airlingus.com to book your flights today.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 customers would recommend AAA insurance to a friend? 9 out of 10 people don't even like baseball. And that's America's pastime. It has an entire Hall of Fame that people visit just because they love baseball that much. Does that mean we should have a Hall of Fame? You can't frame legendary service. Legendary service and superior coverage from AAA Insurance. Something 9 out of 10 of our customers would recommend. Find out why at AAA.com/insurance and get a quote today. Based on a 2023 customer survey, insurance provided by CSAA Insurance Exchange.
Take a moment and think of one thing you really wanted to do recently, but you didn't because your foot, leg, or back pain got in the way. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store. Well, you're not alone. We hear it all the time. Folks are fed up with living with pain that's keeping them from doing what they love, and they look to us at the Good Feet Store for a solution. And that's why we're here, to help get you back out there. Good Feet arch supports, which you can only get at the Good Feet Store, are designed to alleviate and even eliminate foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Plus, they provide improved balance, more comfort, and, well, just a better life. We'd like to help you turn your pain into possibilities with a free fitting at the Good Feet Store. You'll be personally fit by an arch support specialist, and you'll get to walk around and see how Good Feet arch supports feel. Then you can decide if they're right for you. For over 30 years, the Good Feet Store has been helping people get back to doing the things they love without their feet getting in the way. Stop in today at the Good Feet Store in Avon, across from Whole Foods, or visit goodfeet.com.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Joel Johnson with Johnson Brunetti. Do not make mistakes.
1 minute.
Social Security
All right, thank you.
decisions. Get our free guide, Social Security Decisions. Call or text the word security to request your copy. 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word security to 1-800-705-1232 to get your free guide. 1-800-705-1232.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today.
And
At TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
That's an interesting bumper. Reese on the Radio. We are back. News Talk 1080 WTIC. Who is that?
That's your people.
My people? I don't know who that is. That's not one of my people.
It is.
A Tribe Called Quest? De La Soul? I don't know who this is.
Getting close.
Oh, you got to tell me now. Forget about it.
The Far Side.
No way. That's a horrible remix. Whoever did that. What song?
Soulflower.
Soulflower. I knew it. I knew you were going to say it. I almost felt it. Anyway, for those of you who are wondering, one person got it right inside the email. They went to reesonradio.com and got it right. Lori's in the chat room. She got the actor right, but did not get the movie right. And Julie B. in Boston got it right. It is Jack Nicholson, and it's from the movie Witches of Eastwick, where it's in the church where he's having the vomiting scene. It's actually one of the best scenes of the movie. Anyway, we'll get to the phones in a second, but I want to play this. It goes to the top of the show. Steve Kornacki of NBC News was with Kristen Welker on her show, Meet the Press, and he is their poll guy. He's one of the big pollsters out there. Many people consider him very accurate. But here's what he had to say. Again, this is the divide of women in the country when it comes to the election. Here's some of what he had to say.
There's a pretty pronounced gender gap at this point. Harris among women is leading in our poll by 21 points. Among men, Trump is leading by 12. That is a 33-point gender gap. That's enormous what we're seeing right here. Take a look at this, too. The debate, of course, happening in the last couple of weeks. Nearly 30% saying that debate made them more likely to support Harris. Much smaller number for Trump. That might be helping her as well here. And then there's this. The view, the overall perception of Kamala Harris. Remember, before she got in the race, a lot of talk that, her numbers didn't look better than Biden's. She was 32 positive, 50 negative before getting in this race. And now this is what you see.
And we have to pause here because this is the largest increase that we have seen for any politician since George W. Bush in the wake of the September 11th attacks.
Yeah. Now, can you believe that, folks? Now, they're talking about this pendulum swing when she was at 32%, and she skyrocketed to 50% in a matter of, a month or so? 32% beneath. She was submerged beneath Biden. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, she skyrockets to 50%. And they said they've never seen that kind of incline, that kind of trajectory since George W. Bush post September 11th. Now, folks, I know that we've got a lot of dire things going on in the country. Illegal immigration, inflation, just the cost of anything and everything, housing costs, all that stuff. All right? But to suggest that the incumbent got her approval rating to skyrocket while she's in office, while all the calamities, come on. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But okay, I digress. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to I'm going to get to the phones in a second, but let me get to the chat room. That was where the places I wanted to go because some people wanted to opine about that. What's going on with my mouse here? Okay, so Charlie Z, he says, okay, I'm not a misogynist or anything, but a very unpopular and uncomfortable truth is that women only have the right because men let them. Prove me wrong. Now, I will say inartful, but he does have a point. Right? The reason why women do have the rights that they do was primarily because men voted those things in at the time. I always go back to Roe v. Wade, right? Roe v. Wade, everybody says, oh, men can't intervene or even have a discussion about whether or not a woman should have an abortion or not, whether or not she should legally be able to get an abortion. I was like, that's funny. In 1973, it was all men. In fact, when it was overturned, there were more women in the Supreme Court than there were in 1973. So go figure. But anyway, I digress. Carmela says, I just lost it. There she is. She goes, wouldn't men be necessary in some capacity to perpetuate the existence of childish cat ladies? I think Carmela is saying that men play a role in women being childless cat ladies. Well, you can't, you could bring a horse to water. Is that the saying? You could bring a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. You can court a woman all day long, but if she's not interested, she's not interested. Right now, women can choose to be single. They can choose their careers. They can choose not to be a part of a family. In fact, more and more women are choosing to do both of those things. Start a career and not have children. Some of them are choosing not to have children because of climate change. I mean, but, I don't know what that's about, but okay. Back to the phones we go. George is in St. Louis. How are you, sir? Thanks for waiting.
Hi, Reese. I suggest Trump do this as well. He ought to grab what the modern day Russian woman is dressed like,
okay,
and show everyone what things are like in a war zone, where there's shortages, and say no makeup, probably very little designer clothes going around. Just show everybody what everything is like under a communist country. And by the way, I don't remember Chinese women dressing very well either.
Yeah,
communist country, and show everyone what life is like with shortages, fuel shortages and food shortages, and what you look like under 2 or 3 sweaters. You look kind of fat.
It's so true.
Because there's no heat.
Yeah,
indoor heat wherever you go. Show everyone what life is like under communism, which is communist Kamala. Just show everyone what communism will bring you if you vote for Kamala.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think they need to see that.
Yeah, and by the way, the population is on a decrease in Russia. They're drinking themselves to death, and they're not having babies. And you don't have to worry about abortion because, everyone's dying on the streets from starvation and just lack of fuel.
Yeah.
They're freezing to death.
I don't think that, what's funny, because I think that Americans are so spoiled that the likelihood of that happening within their generation, that it's hard to sell that on them, George, but I get your point. A lot of us are fearful that could be down the pike for many of our children and our grandchildren. However, I think that we live in a selfish generation where most of the people who would vote for Kamala Harris are so self-centered, they don't see the world beyond themselves. They keep saying that they do, but I don't think they do.
You have to realize you're no longer in a capitalist society.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a communist society from now on, and things are not going to get any better in the future.
Indeed.
That's what people have to realize.
Yeah. Thank you, George. I appreciate you, sir. Let's go to Joe in Simsbury because I'm very interested to hear what he has to say. Joe, how are you, sir?
I'll probably get myself in a lot of trouble here. But
Let's go. Let's go. I like the sound of it already.
So I'm someone who I feel blessed that I grew up when I grew up because although it wasn't perfect and there were women in my life, family members who had some real issues, I felt that overall, when I look back at my life, that I was exposed to so many strong, influential women that allowed me to always have a tremendous amount of respect for women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even in disagreeing with women.
Okay.
However, I'll touch on the courtship part of it first that you were touching on. I can't imagine if I grew up in a different time where my friends who are single around my age are telling me about how they're just so tired of seeing in online dating apps women saying no Trump supporters, no conservatives, and then they whine about where are the real men. Well, guess what?
They're conservative.
That those are the real men.
Yeah.
That a large percentage of the non-Trump, non-conservative males out there are beta males.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they don't see that, to me, is just mind-boggling. But I want to talk about this whole question of abortion and I too do not believe the exact numbers that you were just stating as it relates to the gender gap, but there is absolutely a gender gap, and a lot of it has to do with the Roe versus Wade thing.
Right.
And I really wish that someone would advise Trump, and I know that I could send 50 emails, it would never get to him, but if I were Trump, I'd stand up there and I would just say, hey, this is the way our country works. You want to bring back Roe versus Wade? I'll make a recommendation that we pass a law in the Congress to bring back Roe versus Wade. But you have to understand that by doing that, we are all 50 states will follow the gun laws of Texas, Florida, and Wyoming. Because you can't pick and choose the laws by saying, oh, Roe versus Wade is going to be the one that matters. But when it comes to gun laws, no, we'll just make that individual states. That's not how the world works.
Right.
And when we look at our world, it's a very simple concept for those that are not that intelligent, that the right to have an abortion came after the right to defend yourself and your family and your people. So the fact that I guess they don't understand just this basic concept of states' rights, because that's really what the issue of Roe versus Wade really is.
That's all it
ever is. You want to do that and you want to make it national, all right, we'll go back to it. But guess what? In Connecticut, I can go buy an AR-15 every single day of the week and have magazines that have large capacities, because you can't have it both ways. That's not how our government works, and will never work that way.
It's a great, you know what? It is a great way to look at it. And I think it's funny because if that were ever proposed, imagine the wedge that would create even within the Democrat Party at this point, because they would turn, you understand what I'm saying? Like they would literally, it would become a circular firing squad, for lack of a better pun, because there are some people who are just saying, well, you know what? They do have a point. If we're going to nationalize this, we have to nationalize that law. Because again, you're saying the right to take a life. We're saying that what we're asking for is a right to defend one. In the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I think that's a very, very good point.
I would really love to have someone, and I'm not going to, pick sides on abortion, pro-life versus pro-choice in this call, but I would love to have someone who thinks that Roe versus Wade should come back, explain to me why I shouldn't have the right to acquire the firearm that I want to acquire. Because when you also look at it, there is specific language in the Second Amendment that shall not be infringed.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't see any abortion language, so I would basically be saying, here, we'll give you this that doesn't even really appear in the Constitution, and you just give me what's in the Constitution.
Indeed. I love it. I love it. Good point, Joe. As always, great call, sir. Much appreciated, sir.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. We got to take one now, and we'll be back with more of your phone calls, more views, more news, more views, and, of course, the stupidest thing that I read today coming up very soon. This one's a doozy. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Brian Shackman here for Brian and Company on WTIC News Talk 1080. Big show on Wednesday. You want to listen the whole morning, actually. Aaron Stewart, the mayor of New Britain, announcing she will not run for another term. A lot of people think that's the first step in the process of running for governor. George Logan, Republican candidate for the 5th District, will join us, as will Sean Scanlon, who just put out a report on the Social Equity Council for legalized recreational marijuana here in the state, and it's not particularly good. Plus all your news, weather, and traffic. We start at 5:30. We go all the way to 9 o'clock. No other show like it. Check us out. Brian and Company, right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Dan Andelman here. You probably know me as the Phantom Gourmet guy, so you know I love food. But to be honest, after years of sampling every dish under the sun,
They got Brian
it was
doing
starting to take a toll
drops
on my
now?
health. Now listen,
Or
I'm
was
not
he
gonna
always doing
completely
them?
give up all my favorite foods, and that's where a
What do you mean? Oh, no, this promo. That's his promo.
I never really hear
and
him
I'm still
throughout
hitting
the
up
show.
plenty of great
I don't know why.
restaurants. The difference is that I'm making
Yeah. Oh no. They just dropped that in this. His promos usually run
because
like
losing 50.
during Tom's show and
Oh, okay.
It's a whole new
whatever, like after your show, like the 6 o'clock hour.
Gotcha.
Awaken 180 isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle change. They've helped me understand my body and my metabolism, and if I can do it in my line of work, anybody can do it. So if you're ready to transform your relationship with food, do what I did and call the solution for weight loss Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and
Pick up your promo.
program will only have to pay back
Say
a
again?
fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy.
I played one of them right before he came back on the air, and he just started laughing. He was like, "It's a great promo, Reese."
Who said that? It ends your debt night.
Tom Shattuck.
Oh, did he? Lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt
What,
relief. as
you
the
did
cost
you
of
play from the
living
one that I did
skyrockets.
today?
Debt Relief Advocates.
I ain't played for him. I put him randomly in the system.
Oh,
you may qualify for.
And then it just happened to be like right before he came back from break. It was the last commercial that was played.
Oh,
525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your
Goodness
agent will be
gracious.
compensated.
Now there's another
All of
woman
which you'll want to
suing
discuss
Didi.
with them up front.
And everything in the lawsuit
work
is a
with an
crime.
agent who's a realtor. Realtors are members of the
There's
National
no-
Association of
this
Realtors.
is insanity.
With a duty to honestly
Yeah,
and put your interests above.
that is
That's
I don't know, man. Some people say he's gonna get off, but
Oh, hell no.
I don't see how.
Oh, no.
That's genius. To some new genius who's got a genius new idea, I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs
If he does, he won't. He will be absolutely broke with not
Oh, yeah.
a dime in his pocket.
He
talented
now he
candidates
bought.
to find it, which makes it easier
he,
for you to hire them.
I think he
Visit
paid the mortgage off on one
Indeed.com/credit
of his
and get
houses
$75 towards your first sponsored job.
to
Terms and
ensure
conditions
that he,
apply.
you know,
Phino's
he
got a
didn't
world
lose
of
it.
entertainment for you to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He have a place to stay.
Exactly.
Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E,
Fed should have
MTV,
been smart. They
Discovery,
should have seized
VH1,
everything.
TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel.
Yeah. That whole thing was crazy to me too. How they just met him in the lobby and
Yeah.
he just walked with him. That was like Was this scripted or what
I
in the
don't
world's going
know.
on?
He was in New York
Get started
because he was
today
supposed
and
to
unlock
turn
our
himself
library
in,
of
but
over 75,000 movies and
I
shows,
don't
and
understand
save
how
all
they
your
did it the way
favorites
they
with the
did it.
unlimited.
And then he came dressed smooth like he just came from a gala or something.
Hanging
For
out
a
in
year.
Central Park like a normie. Like, what?
Plus, you can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead,
I'm not gonna be
Killing
able to
Eve,
take any of these
Orphan
calls.
Black, and tons of block.
Yeah, you got 10 seconds.
I know, yeah.
Contracts,
Tell them,
no commitments, and
see
no
if they'll
hassles.
hold on.
For just $28 a month, Philo's
Thank
a
you.
better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I got to tell you, folks, you got to, if you want to hear the behind-the-scenes conversations, you got to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com because Roland and I will be back and forth. We don't, we're not cursing and screaming at each other or anything like that. But the conversation behind, we're talking about this Diddy thing that's going on. Another woman has filed a lawsuit, according to the New York Daily News. And I was looking at it, and I was going, wait a minute, the headline alone says Diddy hit with new lawsuit accusing him of drugging and raping a woman. But I'm like, I'm listening to the first paragraph of the story. Sean Diddy Combs bound and raped a woman along with his head of security and threatened her with the recording of the assault 2 decades later, according to a lawsuit filed in Manhattan federal court. I'm reading that, and I'm just going, wait a minute, you don't file a federal lawsuit. Again, what are you filing a lawsuit? This is a crime. It's like you alert the police. But I think that what's going to happen is that the police are going to get in. I don't know whether or not that's the plan. Don't get me wrong. What I think is going to happen is somebody's going to grab that young lady and then ask her to whether or not she wants to be a witness in his criminal trial. But in this case, she's got to name names. I just don't want to. I said this on my Sunday show. I don't get it. I do not get it. Like, these are things you have to come forward. He's locked up. You have to tell the police what's going on, especially if you witnessed any of this. And I know there's a lot of people not saying anything and keeping it to themselves. You got people who are deleting their Twitter feeds and stuff, acting like I see no evil, heard nothing. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You're probably down. You were probably there. You probably saw something. And now you're running for the hills. There's a lot of shh. I find it incredible that these people, they're the first to open their mouth about who you should vote for. The first to come out and make a tweet about who's reprehensible and who's this and who's that. Talking about the former commander-in-chief, right? You're quick to say, but then when they find out that you were at a Diddy party for some odd reason, mum's the word. That's interesting. Let's get our first check of the traffic with our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, Mark?
We're doing good, Reese. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. And if you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to have some very heavy delays from Enfield into Windsor Locks. We have 91 southbound shut down at exit 41 in Windsor Locks because of an overturned motor vehicle accident between exit 41 and 40. So right now, you'll have to get off at 41. Delays are back approaching exit 46 King Street in Enfield behind that problem. Now, once you get around that, good ride into Hartford. Northbound 91 just a little slow between 24 and 25, 26, Rocky Hill, Weathersfield line. If you are on the eastbound side of 84, you've got delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is slowing, approaching the Boakview Bridge up to 48 Asylum. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing, approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're westbound 84 in Waterbury, you've got slow traffic 20. Okay. The Mixmaster, 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 3 to 5. And heading toward New Haven, 95 southbound a little slow, 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8s, WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Deb. With My Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on groceries and fuel.
I'm Jan, Deb's sister. With My Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on groceries and fuel.
Okay, but I said it first.
It's more than food. It's My Big Y Rewards.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of the afternoon, it'll be mostly cloudy, the high of 69. Tonight, remaining mostly cloudy, a mild night, the low down to 53. Probably want to take your umbrella when you head out for Wednesday. We'll have low clouds with a couple of showers later in the afternoon, the high of 70. And Thursday, keep that umbrella handy. Another cloudy day with a couple of showers. The high back to 70. Friday, partly sunny, warmer and less humid to round out the week. The high of 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
66 degrees, 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Trouble on the roads this afternoon. I-91 South and Windsor Locks is closed. There's an overturned vehicle with serious injuries. The highway is closed for the investigation, according to state police. Again, that's 91 South and Windsor Locks closed in the area of Exit 40. New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart says she won't run for re-election next year. She's in her 6th term. She tells WTNH-TV she's leaning towards running for governor in 2026. But at a news conference, she says she's not making that commitment yet.
The pieces are coming together, but I know that I have to look at that and take that very seriously. It's not something I just want to jump into. I tried that in 2018. I know what it takes. But what I do know is that I won't be able to do that and do it effectively if I am mayor at the same time. I've got to be able to give my all to that if that's where I want to go.
Stewart touted her success improving the city's finances. Too close to call. Quinnipiac out with a national poll of likely voters. It places Republican Donald Trump at 48%, Democrat Kamala Harris at 47%. That's in a race involving other candidates. In a two-way race, they're tied at 48%. Margin of error, 2.4%. Nearly two-thirds of likely voters would like to see another presidential debate. Almost 75% are concerned about violence following the election. President Biden tells the UN General Assembly the U.S. must not retreat from the world.
The president delivered his 4th and final speech to the UN General Assembly amid another day of Israeli attacks on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon and the war in Gaza nearing the 1-year mark.
I put forward with Qatar and Egypt a ceasefire and hostage deal. It's been endorsed by the UN Security Council. Now is the time for the parties to finalize its terms.
Mr. Biden expressed sorrow for the hostages and their families and for the Palestinian people.
They did not ask for this war.
He also expressed optimism.
Things can get better.
Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Just not on
US
your watch,
officials say
buddy.
The Biden
Just not on your
administration will
watch.
send Ukraine a new military and aid package costing about $350 million. A Harwinton man expected to take a plea deal in the case of the January 6th insurrection. That's according to court papers filed yesterday. Richard
What
Crosby
insurrection?
Jr. is accused of obstructing an official procedure and the federal equivalent of trespassing. Crosby was in the Senate chamber as he and other Trump supporters moved in. A project 2 years in the making should begin next year in West Hartford. The town center infrastructure plan will see enhanced safety for pedestrians and bikers, plus improvements to streetscapes, sidewalks, and parking. Town management.
It's going to be a good birthday month.
All right, no doubt.
To connect to other.
Just got a text from tournament director saying she's writing out checks.
Transportation to the center. So you could ride your bike. There'd be a bike rack, a covered bike rack at both of those locations.
Only took 2 months.
Charging stations for e-bikes or e-scooters.
It's being paid for in part by federal American Rescue Plan funds. Ledwith says the project will
Got to get you out on these lanes, man. See what you got.
sometime.
I've got maybe 85 to 135.
S&P climbing.
Oh, we're going to give you some tips to get that up to 155 to 185.
Okay.
Pregame just after 6 p.m. on WTIC. Yankees hosting Baltimore. The Yanks can clinch the AL East. Mets in Atlanta. The Yard Goats' Bobby Meacham is the Eastern League Manager of the Year, and former NFL quarterback Brett Favre says he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. Favre is 54 years old. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.
1 minute.
My house is cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in
By
as
the way,
little
was
as
that
7
Jonathan?
days.
Was that
I
John
buy houses
Silva
in
with the
any
news?
condition, any
Oh, was
price
that the
range,
other
and
guy?
more importantly,
That was Dave Nager.
Dave Nager?
Mager. No, it's Mager, but it
Mager.
always sounds like he's saying Nager.
I buy
Dave
inherited
Mager.
houses, divorce
Is
houses,
he in studio
behind
today?
payment houses.
Yep.
My tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great.
None of these cats could work from home. The only one that does it is Morgan because
Abandoned
he has the setup.
houses and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-8.
All right, here we go.
4000. 203-896-4000.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio. And the stupidest thing I read today, you've got to go to reasonthenradio.com to read it. Just go to reasonthenradio.com, scroll down to the stupidest thing that I read today. It's there every day at 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. This one's a doozy because this is some Food Network star, some chef, some celebrity chef is actually giving giving her reasons why Kamala Harris would be a great president of the United States. You got to read it for yourself. It is the stupidest thing that I've read today. Go to reasonthenradio.com for that. I don't want to be nitpicky. But if an event takes place, I'm going to give you an example here. Listen to me very closely. If an event takes place like John Doe is involved in a murder with several, I don't know, let's just leave it at that. John Doe is involved in a murder. And then when John Doe gets to court, he is charged with malicious wounding or aggravated assault. You can no longer describe the event as a murder, because no one was charged with murder or convicted of murder. They were charged with malicious wounding or aggravated assault. So the word murder must be removed from the description. That being said, there was no insurrection because no one has been charged with insurrection ever. So it can't be called an insurrection without a person being charged with insurrection. Because if there is a charge, insurrection, charged with insurrection, spend time in jail for insurrection. Convicted of insurrection, didn't happen. So can we please stop calling it an insurrection? I understand that it's, it's like a thing, but can we stop? Can we please? Can we stop? I'd appreciate it. It's void of the facts. That's all I'm saying. Let's just be factual. All right, thanks. I appreciate it. Now let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with a guy who definitely has facts on the road, Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
All right, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, unfortunately, right now we are dealing with a very serious accident.
Oh boy, you're gonna ruffle some feathers now.
Down at exit 41 in
Windsor. I know it's in the copy, but it's not an insurrection if you can't charge them. Nobody's charged with an insurrection.
You'll have to get off the highway. Route 5 south to get around this.
Dude, I get phone calls every day. I get an email all day. Why is this station called an insurrection? Nobody was charged with an insurrection. I'm like, dude, you set me up.
Onto Route 5 to try to get around this problem. After that, you got a good ride into Hartford, northbound 91, no issues. Cromwell through.
Yeah.
If you're west,
I'll send you a text.
Reaching the Boca Bridge of 48 Asylum, 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue as you move into the tunnel. 291 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury, some slow traffic by exit 25, and again some delays. 84 westbound, 22 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing 3 to 5. 84 eastbound in Newtown slows at 11. South 95 New Haven a little tight as you move down by exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, as we make our way through the evening and overnight, it'll be mostly cloudy, cool and comfy to low down to 53 overnight, then low clouds for the day on Wednesday with a couple of showers late in the afternoon, the high of 70. Thursday, cloudy, couple of more showers, the high right back to 70. Beautiful day Friday, partly sunny. It'll be warmer and less humid for us to round out the week, the high 77. Now, Saturday, partly sunny, pleasant, great weather for being out and about, the high of 72. And Sunday, partly sunny, pleasant, another great day to be outdoors, the high of 73. Bridgeport at 66, New Haven 68, at 66 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hi, I'm Brian Kilmeade. I am so excited to be on WTIC right here in Hartford, Connecticut. I'll be bringing all the breaking news with perspective, give you an idea what's happening, not only in the election, but beyond, the things that matter to you on a daily basis. I promise to bring you the best guests, the most insight, and the most prepared. Fresh off Fox and Friends, I come up to do the Brian Kilmeade Show here on Fox News. Make sure you join me on WTIC. Hello, Connecticut. I hope I never have to say goodbye.
Atlas Roofing Shingles with Scotchgard Protector. Protect your home and avoid those dark stains on your roof caused by algae. Available now from the Peter L. Brown Company. For a free roofing estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Enjoy connections to over 20 cities across Europe when you fly non-stop to Dublin from Hartford with Aer Lingus. Great fares from Bradley International Airport, now available on airlingus.com.
Phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait. Attention on the road, that's the only way. Phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
1 minute.
Hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch
Everybody
to an
still on?
tankless.
Learn about
Yep, and add one.
and see
Okay.
tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we are back. It's Reese on the Radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. Ooh, that's kind of groovy. I like that. Yeah. That's a really, really good one. Now, is that another remix for the Far Side?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I think this is. That's really, really good. All right, folks. Telephone number 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Back to the phones we go. Everett is in East Hartford. How we doing, sir?
Good. Thank you for taking my call.
Always my pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation you were talking about with Roe versus Wade, the other thing that case proved when they turned that back to the states is they should do that the same thing with the Department of Education.
Okay.
Use the same exact argument that you need to give that right back to the state. So the state of Connecticut runs their own education department, just
That's
like
true.
the state of New York, California. That way, who knows better than the neighbors to run their own place?
Indeed.
What does somebody a million miles away know about my school district?
Such a good point. Right. And in fact, isn't that one of the, I'm almost certain that's one of the platforms of the Trump administration this time is to pretty much gut the Board of Education.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what the point of that is.
I don't either.
The government could say, okay, this is what a high school standard is. This is what you need to. This is required to be considered a high school graduate, and then leave it up to the state to set up their own programs.
That's true. And
Because every state's going to know how to, each district, how they're going to set up their own district, their own school system. You're trying to tell me in California what I'm going to do here in Connecticut, and you have no idea.
it's a good point. I think that's true. Because you know what? It's not like that hasn't been done where the state has decided its own curriculum. You might remember Governor Jerry Brown of California put a part of the curriculum that every student to get a high school diploma must have LGBTQ studies. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember back when they wanted to try to sell Ebonics.
Yes, exactly. That was an initiative that was pushed forward by Maxine Waters and Jesse Jackson himself.
Yeah, no, I mean, I find these people that are quote unquote standing up for the minorities have absolutely zero respect, because you need to, if I'm playing basketball with you and I tell you I'm going to give you 10 points, what am I telling you? I'm telling you you're terrible. I'm going to give you 10 points. You keep up.
Indeed. Yeah, you know what's so funny? You were talking about, as you're talking
about,
about,
go to college and they, you're a person of color.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 10 points. They just told you you're stupid to your face.
right. But you know what? People don't, I'm telling you, there are people in this country who don't have a problem with being told that they're stupid. They love the idea that they're told that they're not as good as, and that's the reason why they need the level up. They have no problem with it. There is no shame. We just don't have enough shame in our society anymore. My wife and I talk about this all the time. We got to bring back shame.
No, again, too, shame makes, it's called tough love. If you're actually hard on somebody, you're actually going to make them work harder.
That's
and they're
right.
going to have a better and more productive life.
Lord knows that's what my wife tells me all the time.
What are you going to put your kid in a walker and never take him out?
Yeah.
35 years old and never been out of a walker.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Everett. Let's go to Lori in Glastonbury. Hi, Lori.
Hey, Reese, how are you?
Very good, ma'am. How are you?
I am well. So there's so many thoughts, and I hope you can kind of bear with me, because I'm sure I'm going to go on a couple rabbit trails. First off, I wanted to thank you for the wonderful conversation on human trafficking with my friend Barbara Plant.
I have a follow-up to that story, by the way.
Super helpful and informative, and I really appreciated it. So as a childless cat lady, because I couldn't have my own kids.
Right.
And a cat lady because my ex-husband left me for the side piece he meant at work. I'm not a cat lady by choice, but I felt like that comment came up, and all of these women, their knickers all collectively got in a twist. And I just I was so grieved at that, because and Megyn Kelly, I felt, had the best retort to all of this nonsense, because y'all are getting your knickers in a twist over J.D. Vance calling us childless cat ladies, when in reality you won't step up for women's sports.
Yeah.
Keep biological men out of women's sports. You won't push to have the Lake and Riley murder investigated.
That's right.
You won't support Riley Gaines.
Mm-hmm.
You won't, you won't support any of this. And yet you want to choose being a childless cat lady as your soapbox?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You make me look bad. Women like you make me look bad, because I am a critical thinker. I don't just go by my emotions willy-nilly. I actually critically think about issues. I follow policies. I don't vote for personalities. And these women, bless their hearts, are making me look bad because in the same way that they make me look bad because of the way they drive. They make me look bad because they...
Come on, Lori. Cut him some slack here. Jesus. It's
because
death of 1,000 cuts over here.
No, but because these are the same women. I'm an adoptee. By the grace of God, I was not, my mother chose to follow through with her pregnancy and then give me up for adoption because she was courageous and strong and loving and selfless. And these women, these childless cat ladies that unfortunately I share a category with, are trying to tell me that I have no right to be pro-life because I'm supposed to be a feminist. Okay, well, I'm a pro-life feminist. So get your tuchus in the same pool with me, and let's stand up for women's sports, and let's stand up for women's spaces.
That's what I said.
The whole rewrite of Title IX. So don't come at me.
One of the first stories. No, it's okay. One of the first things that I said when I got on this station was that women who felt like they were being marginalized, they've got nothing but themselves to blame because damn sure, as you just eloquently said, with men and women's spaces and men and women's sports, these women said nothing. They sat idly by. Many of them championed the swimmer, gosh, why am I forgetting the swimmer's name now?
Riley Gang. Leah.
Yeah, Leah Williams, Leah Thomas, whatever her name is. Yeah, they supported her, right? They completely threw women under the bus, right? They screamed and they hollered at anyone who would dare say that transgenders did not belong in women's sports. They stood up for them while they admonished their own gender. So it was hard for me to have any empathy or sympathy for them when people started talking about the war on women. The war on women, you guys are on a war with yourselves. So yeah,
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And it's just incredibly frustrating because they don't represent me, and yet they want to claim they either want to claim to represent me or they want to bully me into being into their group. And neither of that is going to happen.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Lori. Much appreciated. My good friend Matt in Bristol is on the line. How you doing, Matt?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. How are you doing?
I'm all right, sir. Did I ruffle your feathers this afternoon with the speech about women?
Yes, actually you did. And I kind of want to agree and disagree with the last caller because I've identified as a woman ever since they started allowing me in locker rooms. So I have a lot to say on this subject.
Okay.
No, actually, I just called about Tim with Aaron Stewart.
Yeah.
Obviously she is going to run for governor. I know it's still a long ways away, but, I'm happy she's running for governor because, you can't have a far-right Republican run for governor in the state and win. So I'd rather have a wishy-washy Republican than a Ned Lamont.
I agree.
So and I know Mark from West Hartford is going to yell at me, but I'm on the Aaron Stewart train.
Well,
if she wants to run for governor, I got her back.
Listen, I believe, and I think you're saying it as well, we have to look at moments like this as mission creep. Because if we can get an Aaron Stewart as governor of Connecticut, perhaps if she runs the state well, if she's effective, then there's not the abject fear of having a Republican in that office, in the highest office in the state. So therefore, we, in essence, start, and if a Republican is in the office and they can start articulating conservative values or conservative policies that actually work and people can see the results of them, that's the mission creep. So as White Mike likes to say in Florida when he calls up, it's like people have to, perfect. We can't have perfect. Perfect is sudden doom. We can't get an all-in Republican elected into office. A moderate, maybe even somebody who's a little wishy-washy as being a Republican. Look, we took a Mitt Romney in Massachusetts. I'll take an Aaron Stewart in Connecticut. Why not?
Yeah. And the Democrats are so good at plucking a chicken one feather at a time.
Oh, yes, they are.
To do that.
Yes, you're 100% right, my friend. 100% right.
We need to start doing the same thing.
You got it. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Great call. Joe. Joe is in New Hampshire. What's up, Wall Street?
Hey, Reverend. I sent Mr. Lewandowski the suggestion for President Trump to have another debate. But
you want him to have another debate?
Yeah, but it's not your typical debate unless Carmela decides to show up. By the way, past weekend, I went back on YouTube and I watched the entire debate over again. Because when you watch something over again, you pick up things you didn't, notice so much the first time.
Right.
Do you realize from start to finish. And then when you see her on tape, currently 8 years ago, do you notice what she does with both her hands? She looks like an interpreter for the deaf. She takes both her hands up to her chin area, and it's like she's conducting an orchestra.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to take tied her wrists together with plastic handcuffs, I don't think she'd be able to talk.
It's so interesting you say that. My wife picked up on it, and she'd never noticed it before. But my wife has become so politically active as of recent. But you're right on point. When she watched that debate, my wife could not stop mentioning the hand gestures of Kamala Harris, and she was sort of comparing them to the way that Bill Clinton and Barack Obama spoke. And she would catch every time Kamala Harris would extend her hand with a closed fist with her thumb up.
She does it with every sentence.
Yeah.
If you want to use a percentage, I'd say 95, 97%.
Exactly. And my wife deems it is a politician showing how disingenuous they are, that they have to keep moving their hands in it. It's like a nervous tick. It's like when they're telling a lie or they're telling a half-truth, they have to forcefully bring their fist forward with the thumb up, as if to suggest that this is true.
Maybe she's into black magic. It's a hocus pocus on the audience. She's transmitting thought control or something with the hands. But I mean, it's way over the top. I mean, it just drives you crazy. Once you start noticing it, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And she always says, maybe 50 times, let's be clear.
Yes.
Let's be clear on this. And she says it over twice with, a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But again, she doesn't really say anything. She just talks in generalities.
I love that
never
because
answers questions.
What is it, Joe? I think she picked that up from Joe Biden, because Joe Biden does that a lot with the no joke, no joke, no joke. As soon as he says no joke, I'm going, he's about to lie.
Yeah, let's be clear. But to watch it again and go through the whole thing and see what Trump was up against, and now with the whistleblower, the fix was in. It's really disgusting when you watch it. But here's what I sent to Corey Lewandowski
about the debate. I want to hear. Yeah, this one I want to hear.
This has never been done before, and I wouldn't be surprised they adopt it. And I always tell them, let Trump take the credit. I don't deserve any credit. Just call Reese's show in the future. That'll be my favor. I do say that. But here's the thing. She wouldn't go to the Fox debate. I think that date has already passed.
Right.
She wants CNN again. Of course, the fix will be in. Because I say CNN seems straight down the middle with Biden, because that was the beginning of trying to get Biden out.
Right.
So, this was a plan concocted probably back in May. Now, Biden wasn't in on it until it was too late. But they knew without the help they gave Carmela, never questioning her, but giving Trump all the second guesses.
Sure.
Well, you notice with the Biden debate, they were like straight down the middle, because they knew Biden was going to mess up like he did, and then they would have the excuse to get him out. They deliberately conducted a fair debate to get Biden out. You follow me?
Yeah, I got you. I got to go to the BPS Traffic Center. Thanks, Joe. Let me get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. I didn't even realize the time. I thought we had 2 minutes, but that just went on. Sorry about that. Mark, how you doing, sir?
No problem. Good afternoon, Reese. And if you are heading in toward Windsor Locks right now, big problems there. The Highway 91 southbound, the highway is shut down at exit 41 because of an overturned motor vehicle between exit 41 and 40. So right now, delays kicking back to 47 W in Enfield, and a lot of folks jumping on to Route 5. So Route 5 is very heavy now as folks jump off of 91 to try to get around this. So that's the problem there. Once you get around that, you got a good ride into Hartford. Northbound 91, moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound side of 84, you're going to see delays now approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney Street. Eastbound side of 84 slows a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 384 looking good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84, a little tap of the brakes approaching the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury tight 3 to 5. 84 eastbound in Newtown slowing 10 to 11. And 95 southbound New Haven tight 46 to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
John Legend here. How do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date with a COVID shot this season?
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Ask your healthcare provider and book at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
WTIC.
For the rest of the afternoon, it remains mostly cloudy, the high of 69. Tonight, under mostly cloudy skies, the low dropping down to 53. Then Wednesday, low clouds with a couple of showers later in the afternoon, the high up to 70. Thursday, cloudy, a couple of showers around, the high right back to 70. Friday, beautiful day to round out the week. It'll be partly sunny, warmer, and less humid, the high of 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
65 degrees at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. As Mark just told you, I-91 South and Windsor Locks is closed. There's an overturned vehicle with serious injuries reported. The highway closed for the investigation, and it has been for the last few hours. Again, that's 91 South and Windsor Locks closed in the area of exit 40. Waterbury police arrest a teenager for an apparent threat made to city schools. The threatening post on social media referencing several public schools appeared late last night. The threat was deemed not credible. The 13-year-old was arrested, accused of issuing that message. They face charges of threatening and breach of peace. Now, North Haven police say they've responded to a threat of gun violence this afternoon. Officers are at the middle and high school campus, same campus. There are no reports of actual violence. Police say someone contacted a veterans service crisis line saying they were going to the middle school for a shooting. The campus was put into a shelter in place. That threat deemed not credible. Again, that's in North Haven. New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart says she won't seek another term. The Republican first elected in 2013 says it's time for new leadership.
But now it's time to give that opportunity to someone else. I still have 14 months until my term ends, and I will not have any shortage of new announcements or projects to be completed. During that time, my foot will remain on the gas pedal. It will be there until my final day in office, that I can promise.
Stewart tells WTNH-TV she's leaning towards a run for governor in 2026, but a decision might not come until early next year. Israel says it killed the top Hezbollah commander with a strike in Beirut. Thousands of residents are leaving southern Lebanon as Israeli strikes continue. The BBC's Daniel D. Simone.
Thousands of Lebanese people have been fleeing to other areas of Lebanon, Beirut, the capital, but also further north, because I think people in Beirut also don't feel safe. We've seen a number of airstrikes in Beirut.
The death toll from a massive Israeli bombing campaign starting yesterday is now at almost 560. Home prices might be peaking.
The S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index rose 5% in July from a year earlier, the 14th consecutive month in which national prices were at an all-time high. But home prices may be reaching a tipping point, with nearly half of the largest 20 markets experiencing price declines from June. Mortgage rates have fallen to their lowest levels in nearly 2 years, but high home prices continue to weigh on home buyer affordability.
CBS's Jason Brooks. On Wall Street, the Dow up 84 points to a record 42,208. S&P was up 14 points to another record level. Nvidia was up almost 4%. NASDAQ up 100 points. Sports, Red Sox in Toronto, pregame just after 6 on WTIC. The Yankees can clinch the AL East tonight. They host Baltimore, the Mets in Atlanta. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Paid for by GLI LLC.
This is an important message for anyone who's on Medicaid and needs home care. Did you know that a family member, close friend, or even a neighbor can get paid to be your caregiver in the comfort of your own home? That's right. If you're on Medicaid, your child, grandchild, friend, or someone else you know and trust can be paid per hour to be your caregiver through a Medicaid-funded program. Just call 800-606-4420, and SilverCare will help you hire the loved one you choose to be your caregiver. SilverCare is based right here in Connecticut. As your neighbor, nobody cares more than SilverCare about getting your caregiver paid the best rates on time. If you're on Medicaid, this service is absolutely free for you. Just call 800-606-4420 right now. Get the home care you need from a loved one or known friend, and they can get paid to help you at home. Just call 800-606-4420. This service is absolutely free to you, and your relative or friend gets paid to be a caregiver. Just call 800-606-4420. 800-606-4420. 800-606-4420.
We all hear the radio ads about
1 minute.
us. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a
Commentary
solution.
said that
It doesn't
when
matter
Lori
if you're
was
sitting in your
saying
car,
the
at work,
word
or with your
knickers,
kids, no matter where you are.
she needs to be careful how fast she's saying it.
Don't. They can eliminate or reduce what
I
you owe
love
to the
Terry.
IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com.
And 10, right after the drop.
875-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, man, we are back. And, folks, I want to say thank you because I understand you guys are understanding the format in which I do the show. You guys used to inundate me with phone calls, and I couldn't get to a lot of the subject matter that was on the show. And I know because, you guys had so much to say about some of the topics. So I want to tell you how much I appreciate you allowing me to get a lot of the content out there. This in particular, and I didn't think this was going to happen. I don't... I'm prognosticate, if you will, but when stuff like this happens, I'm always sort of like, wow, it is very relevant. Yesterday, you might have heard Lori when she called in, we spoke to Barbara Plant of Act Now and of the Underground New England. And by the way, you can go to undergroundne.org to contribute. What we were talking about yesterday, Barbara and I, was about the human trafficking that's happening in the state of Connecticut. Well, lo and behold, today when I was doing my show prep, I get this story, Plant, which was actually kind of weird. I wasn't expecting it, but, it's there. I'm sorry, I screwed up because I have some audio that is now on that should not be on, and I should actually put that on mute, so I've ruined that. Sorry. Here we go. This happened today. When I was doing my show prep, and here's the audio from it.
Federal authorities are facing a growing threat. The violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua is expanding criminal operations right here in the U.S. The New York Post is reporting the gang is targeting desperate women and forcing them into prostitution in the 8 states you see highlighted right here: Texas, Nevada, Illinois, California, Florida, Georgia, New Jersey, and New York. In addition to those claims I just told you about, more reports are also coming in accusing the gang of using migrant shelters in American cities to recruit new members and also to build a criminal empire right here on American soil.
So I had asked Barbara last week about that. Like, are they recruiting Americans into the human trafficking, into the prostitution ring? And she said yes. And there you go. National report that says that many of these gangs, in this particular one, the Venezuelan gang, are grabbing American women and desperate women and putting them into this human trafficking ring. So this is a powder keg. It's a powder keg. And I am not even going to talk about what's happening in Chicago, but we will get to that soon enough because that could turn into a very perilous situation with the criminal organizations in that city. Let's get back to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. This traffic report being brought to you by Whittlesey. And if you are heading on the southbound side of I-91 in Windsor-Lock, serious accident occurred there earlier this afternoon between exit 41 and 40. Overturned motor vehicle accident. Highway shut down southbound 91 in Windsor-Lock exit 41. A lot of folks jumping onto Route 5 South. Delays back to 47E and Enfield behind that. So a real tough ride there. Try to avoid that if you can. After that, you got a good ride into Hartford. Just a little tap of the brakes at 32A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to exit 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound, you're tied up 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 moving well east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing as you move up on Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading 84 westbound into Waterbury, some slow traffic approaching the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, Danbury slowing 3 to 5. 84 eastbound again tight 10 to 11 in Newtown. 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 down to exit 44 in New Haven. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more at WAdvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, as we head through this evening and tonight, it remains mostly cloudy for us. A cool and comfortable night, though. The low down to 53. Now, Wednesday, low clouds. We'll have a couple of showers late in the afternoon. Probably want to take your umbrella as you head out the door tomorrow morning. The high of 70. Thursday, cloudy. We'll have a couple of showers. Another day, you want to take that umbrella with you. The high of 70 again. Now, Friday, it'll be dry, partly sunny, warmer and less humid. Beautiful day to round out the week with a high of 77. Saturday, partly sunny, pleasant. Great weekend to be outdoors. The high 72. Partly sunny and pleasant again Sunday, the high of 73. So great looking weekend ahead. All quiet on the radar right now. Meriden at 68, Bristol 65, Hartford 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special, along with Dr. Alfie and Katie Neal, as we engage in this very meaningful conversation. Connect with us right here for I'm Listening.
September 26th at 7 p.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080, sponsored locally by Amplify.
With vacations over and busy schedules back, don't forget your dental care. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester is open 7 days a week with late hours to fit your busy routine. Call 860-730-6030 or visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hamden, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app. Need good tech advice?
Must be a computer error.
Tune into the
30 seconds.
Award-winning Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on WTIC News Talk 1080. Eric Semmel and Dennis Howland of Tab Computer Systems will keep you updated with tech news you can use and answer your technology questions live on the air. Miss a program?
Yeah, Tim.
The podcast and tune in from anywhere via the Odyssey app. Computer Talk with Tab, Saturday mornings on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It is your girl Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio. Don't forget, always go to reaseontheradio.com so you can friend us on all the social media platforms. You can even watch the show on Instagram now, so we finally figured that out. I was trying to figure out so many ways. I'm not technically Like, I'm not a technological guru. I'm not even in that realm. I try stuff out. I sit in my office and I try to figure some stuff out. And then when I figure it out, I've figured it out and that's it. And then I don't remember, because then if I were to, ever have to do it on my own, I would probably, if you would have asked me how I did it, I wouldn't remember. I've literally got to do it. Like, I've got to do it by accident. I want to, listen, I normally don't endorse the individual I'm about to mention. But what she did, I guess yesterday, maybe it was yesterday, has really got me thinking, and I think I'm going to have to do my own investigation. Folks, it sounds silly. Don't get mad at me. Somebody's going to say, why are we rehashing this, Reese? I wouldn't if it wasn't for this video. Candace Owens. I'm not a big fan of hers, folks. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people say, well, Reese, a lot of ways you agree. I get it, but I don't, because you're a black conservative doesn't mean that I agree with you. I was never that guy. I don't care who you are. I have certain people I follow and certain people I'm about. Candace Owens is just not my cup of tea. Not that I don't dislike her. She's just not my cup of tea. But she did something that I was not interested in. I loved sort of making fun of it. But she did a deep dive. And that was into Kamala Harris's genealogy. And I watched the video today, and I was a little amazed. Folks, Kamala Harris is lying about her black heritage. And so is her father. And you have to just find Candace Owens online. In fact, you know what? I'll go so far as after the show today, I will get the video and I will post it on reasoontheradio.com so you can see it yourself. And it's lengthy, but she breaks down. Kamala Harris is not only lying, but she brings up a photo of a woman she calls her paternal grandmother, even though birth records and death records suggest that her paternal grandmother died at the age of 39, some 3 years, maybe it's more than it. Yeah, about 3 years before Kamala was ever born. And Kamala has a picture of her as a teenager. Well, Kamala's as a teenager with an old woman that she describes is her grandmother, her paternal grandmother. And there are records that say that her grandmother died at the age of 39 before she was born. Kamala never met her. So, again, I'll post the video for you to watch. But not that this is getting a lot of traction. But she also goes into her father's genealogy, and he's got a lot of Irish. I mean, a lot of Irish. I mean, like O'Houlihan Irish. I mean, like Bennigan's Irish. I mean, not the O'Neill Irish. Shaquille O'Neal, for those of you who didn't get that joke. That she's like Irish. Like Irish. Okay? To the phones we go. 860-522-WTIC. Fred's in Middletown. How you doing, Fred?
Hey, real quick, I have Candace Owens filed under controlled opposition. Yeah, but regarding the gestures and repeated phrases, I believe it was Barack who went to let me be clear.
Yeah.
He would kind of snap it. And basically he was grabbing you by the shirt when he said it.
Yeah.
The hand gestures, Hitler studied opera singers. Yeah, that's
really?
You could you can mesmerize someone with hand movements. I mean, and think of a mime. Think of all someone can communicate without words.
Correct.
Yeah. Jesse Kelly, everybody's hero, says, I'll close with this, that radio, you can't lie. You can't hide on the radio. Like, because you can't, there's no eye contact. There's no look of gravitas, and salt and pepper beard, or anything else to distract. It's just like, there it is.
That's actually very, very interesting. Maybe that's the reason why I love this medium so much. I mean, you have no idea. My affinity to radio is I mean, I love television. Don't get me wrong, but radio has always been. I don't know. I was drawn to it at a very a teenager, but it has always been that the theater of the mind was exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And I watched those old, what was it? I was watching a movie, The Untouchables, and they have this one scene where Patricia,
Walter Whitfield,
with Patricia Clarkson is playing Elliot Ness's wife in The Untouchables, the Robert De Palma film with Sean Connery.
Oh yeah.
And they're sitting at the radio listening to Amos and Andy. And I remember in watching that, I remember the first time I saw that as a kid, and I remember saying to myself, that must have been such a unique time that you had to use your mind in hearing what was going on, and sort of everyone had to have a collective vision through listening to the radio. You had to describe it so that everyone saw the same thing they were hearing. That amazed me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, I don't need any props. Get out of my way.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what you have to convey. I mean, I think about that all the time. Orson Welles in War of the Worlds. You know, in essence, you have to paint a picture that everyone can see simultaneously. It's different than television. You know, it's just, television's easy by comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Our good friend, Frankie Bag of Donuts. Is it Frankie? Frankie.
Good. How you doing today? You know, I love when you bring up Orson Welles.
I know you do.
Because he was just like big and brilliant. Had a lot in common. I got to bring this up today.
What's that?
Gold hit another all-time record high. This is my baby. I've been saying for 25 years on this radio station, when it was $250 an ounce, I was just about begging people to buy it. This is the investment for the next 50 years.
Everybody's selling gold. Even William Devane is selling gold.
I know. And you know, there's a message there that we're in big trouble in this country. The debt is out of control. I don't hear one word from Trump or Harris how they're going to fix that problem. Matter of fact, both of them are going to make it worse.
Do you remember how William Devane got in trouble? Because I think you might remember, it was somewhere around 2010, maybe 2011. William Devane became the spokesperson for that gold company. And I think, do we run those ads here, Roland? Do we run William Devane's gold?
You have a sponsor, but that's not him, though.
Yeah, it's not him. Okay.
Yeah, it's somebody else.
It's somebody else. Okay, so William Devane, right, I think it was around 2010, 2011, he started being the spokesperson for that ad. I'll never forget it. He'd become famous because it was a national campaign all over the place, and he would always say something like 2012. He says the same thing he says in the ads today. We got an election coming out. He goes, the two things that I'm going to do, I'm going to vote and I'm going to buy gold. And I remember he was asked by maybe TMZ or something, some other company, saw him walking down the street. They said, hey, William Devane, who are you going to vote for? And he turned around and said, I'm going to vote for Barack Obama. Even though his ads were telling everyone that you needed to vote of the opposition because gold was the only thing that was going to save us from the amount of inflation that was. And so people were just like, really? You picked Obama? And then he says this, which I think destroyed his credibility as a spokesperson. He says, I think Obama's doing a great job with the economy. And he was raked over the coals. And I'm like,
yeah, the reason why he liked Obama, because every day the price of gold was going up back then.
You're 100. You are so right. That was two things that were being bought. It was ammunition and gold. He was definitely good for both of those industries. That's such a true story.
I said this from the first day that this nonsense came up on this radio station.
What's that?
Kamala Harris is not a black woman. If there's one thing I know besides gold are black women. Black women
That's
don't
right.
have her looks. She's homely looking. She has that pancake body. Black women don't have bodies like that. They're built, trust me.
Yeah, you know what? I keep calling her Hillary Black .0 because she has the same body type as Hillary Clinton.
She's insulting every black woman in America by making that statement.
Thank you.
She wants to be black.
They all want to be black until the cops are called. Let's just keep it real.
They all want to be black when the summertime comes and they're laying on the beach as white as a bottle of milk and they're trying to look black. You know?
Indeed.
Everybody wants to be black. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Chris is in Wethersfield. How you doing, Chris? Chris, are you there?
Good, Reese. How are you
today?
today,
I'm pretty good, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Gotcha, buddy.
Good. I was going to ask a question about something that you just brought up about 10 minutes ago, but then I'm thinking my question's going to be stupid because talking about Venezuelan gangs and how they're recruiting
American women
from America. American women now.
Yeah.
So let's think about that. Why is an American woman in a shelter? Right? If you think about it, why are they probably in a really bad relationship? Have children. So they're not.
Chris, you're breaking up really, really bad. I may have to get you to call back because wherever you are, you're in a bad position. Are you moving a lot? Are you driving?
Got Jeff from Marlboro.
Okay. All right, Chris, call me back, man. If you can hear me, please call me back. I want to hear because I know you had a good question, and I definitely want to hear it. I'm sorry. Who did you say we have? Jeff? Jeff? Hey, what's up, Jeff? How are you?
Hey, Reese, I'm doing all right. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, sir. What's up?
Yeah, I was just calling in. You were talking about, what were you talking about?
Was it about Kamala? Was it about the gangs recruiting American women, or was it something earlier?
Yeah, it was something earlier. Now I totally forgot. I've been on hold that.
We weren't talking about women in the electorate.
Well, women in the electorate is good. I think, we always value women's opinions, so I think that's a good thing. But,
I value women's opinion too, but what I'm looking at as far as the gender gap is concerned, listening to the polling data, I'm under the impression we have more people who are going to be voting for Kamala Harris by the sheer measure of her genitalia. And
I think that those polls are like way overstated, though.
You think so?
Are. Yeah, I think people say that stuff just to mess with the polls. I think they do it for kicks.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but only to a small degree. But there's a poll that says that Kamala Harris is at 65% with African American voters, right?
That's ridiculous.
Right.
There's no way.
But yeah, exactly. I was the one who said here last week, I don't see Donald Trump getting south of 45%. But the polling data suggests that she's going to get, but by the way, even if she does get 66%, that is far worse than Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. And that would tell you exactly how many people are glomming onto the idea that she would be the first black female president. I don't believe that I don't think that they're buying it. I don't, especially within the African American community.
Reese, I don't know the neighborhood you live in, but like where I live, there come this time of year, there's always massive amount of political signs around. Everywhere. Okay, I've seen 3.
Wow.
3.
I've seen a few.
Nope.
I've seen a few, but it's not as pronounced as people supported for Donald Trump. I will tell you that. It's overwhelmingly a large degree of Donald Trump's support. And it's unlike anything I've seen before. In fact, MSNBC said this morning that Donald Trump is more popular than he was in not just 2016, but in 2020 as well. And again, we're talking about a guy who went from 2016 from 63 million votes to 75 million in another election. If he's more popular than he was 4 years ago, that number has got to be astronomical. We got to take a break. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
Okay. Thank you, Reese.
I forgot that I said it in the beginning, and I said it again.
That was the best introduction all week. If you're heading into Hartford right now, unfortunately, we're dealing with a real serious accident, and that is on the southbound side of I-91. Earlier this afternoon, an overturned motor vehicle accident between exit 41 and 40 in Windsor Locks. Right now, highway shut down at exit 41. Delays are back to exit 48 in Enfield behind that. So very heavy traffic there. A lot of folks trying to jump off onto Route 5 to get around this, so be aware of that. If you are traveling south of that, you get some slow traffic again in Hartford 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, slow traffic 27 down to 28. Now on the northbound side of I-91, that's moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bothia Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay to the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury's okay, just a slight slowdown 84 eastbound at 18, 84 westbound 23 out to 22, 84 eastbound in Newtown tight 10 to 11, And 91 in the Parkway moving well toward New Haven. 95 southbound slowing by 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com. WTIC weather.
For the rest of the afternoon, it remains mostly cloudy, the high of 69. Tonight, under mostly cloudy skies, the low dropping down to 53. Then Wednesday, low clouds with a couple of showers later in the afternoon, the high up to 70. Thursday, cloudy, a couple of showers around, the high right back to 70. Friday, beautiful day to round out the week. It'll be partly sunny, warmer, and less humid, the high of 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
65 degrees, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. The cycle of non-credible yet disruptive threats to area schools continues. North Haven police now say they responded to a threat of gun violence this afternoon. Officers were at the shared middle and high school campus. There are no reports of actual violence. Police say someone contacted a veteran service crisis line saying they were going to the middle school for a shooting. The campus was put into a shelter in place. Waterbury police arrested a teen for an apparent threat made to city schools. The post on social media referencing several schools appeared late last night. The threat was deemed not credible. The 13-year-old was arrested and charged with threatening and breach of peace. Parents in Windsor met with School Superintendent Terrell Hill today. Some are upset, saying when a threat was made to a high school a few weeks ago, the high school, it took an hour for parents to be notified. Kim Collins is a Windsor high school mom.
There was kids texting their parents saying, I love you if I don't see you, bye. How do you get that information before a school makes any kind of contact with you? It's ridiculous.
The audio from WFSB, the superintendent says that won't happen again. 6 terms will be it for New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart. The Republican says she won't seek re-election next year. She tells WTNH-TV she is leaning towards running for governor in 2026, but she's not making that decision for now. If she chooses to run, she says it will be in early 2025.
We're not independently wealthy here. We run on loyalty and love. We don't necessarily run on an abundance of cash. So I would need that time to certainly raise the money, which means I would need to make a decision early on in 2025.
She says for now she'll be focused on her job as mayor. It's too close to call. Quinnipiac out with a national poll of likely voters. It places Republican Donald Trump at 48%, Democrat Kamala Harris at 47%. That's in a race involving other candidates. In a two-way race, they're tied at 48%. Margin of error, 2.4%. Nearly 2/3 of likely voters say they'd like to see another presidential debate. Almost 75% are concerned about violence after the election. President Biden says the U.S. must not turn to isolationism.
The president used his final speech before the UN General Assembly to offer a message of hope amid wars in the Middle East and Europe.
Things can get better.
But as his administration nears an end, he acknowledged repeated attempts to end the war in Gaza and bring the hostages home have so far failed, and the suffering continues.
I've met with the families of those hostages. I've grieved with them. They're going through hell. Innocent civilians in Gaza are also going through hell.
As he spoke, a new round of Israeli airstrikes aimed for Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Thousands of residents are leaving southern Lebanon because of those strikes. Israel, meantime, says it killed a top Hezbollah commander with a strike in Beirut. After months of planning, West Hartford will take on a major upgrade of its town center. It will be funded in part through American Rescue Plan funds, according to town manager Rick Ledwith.
Initially, we set aside $3.8 million of ARPA funds back in 2021. As we've moved through this process and worked with our consultants, we realized that wasn't nearly enough to fund even the smaller of the two projects. So the council did allocate $10 million of ARPA funds for the center renovation.
Plan includes streetscape and sidewalk upgrades. Access will be improved for people on bikes and pedestrians. Mobility hubs will be installed to connect to different modes of transportation. Ledwith says the project will go out to bid, with work most likely beginning next year. Wall Street, the Dow up 84 points to a record 42,208. S&P up 14 to another record, and the NASDAQ was plus 100. A reminder from traffic and Mark Christopher that I-91 southbound closed in Windsor Locks. That's around exit 40. There was an overturned motor vehicle there earlier. I-91 southbound closed in Windsor Locks. Sports, Red Sox in Toronto. Pregame just after 6 p.m. on WTIC. The Yankees can clinch the American League East. They host Baltimore, the Mets in Atlanta. The Yard Goats, Bobby Meacham, the Eastern League Manager of the Year. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, low testosterone causes a host include a low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. But many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider that there are medical treatments that can give them back their vigor and vibrancy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're feeling like I just described, it's time for you to treat that low T and change your life. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. We've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing difference that those treatments can make in a man's life. If you're feeling like the vast majority of men who are low T, within just a few weeks, you'll feel your energy return. That brain fog will go away. Your sleep will improve, as will your workouts, and your sex drive will be significantly enhanced as well. So make an appointment and make a true life change. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices right after the drop to serve you.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
They say we may have to get rid of Jay-Z's I'm Focused Man. Who knows what's going to happen? Terry said that. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. An article out of the Hartford Courant. I checked it out today, and I wanted to make it a part of the 5 o'clock focus. Headline reads, poll shows Trump's Connecticut popularity. Residents, election skepticism. But that's not the focus of the article. I mean, it makes a mention of the fact that people in Connecticut are agreeing with Donald Trump about the integrity of the 2020 election. Many people harp on that. A lot of liberal rags do. They really, really harp on, he believes the election was stolen. Oh, it's a threat to democracy. And all that nonsense. But what's interesting in this article, and I think it should be the 5 o'clock focus, is this part. Connecticut voters favored Democrat Kamala Harris for president over Republican Donald J. Trump. But the GOP electorate remains loyal to Trump and shares his suspicion that votes will not be accurately and fairly counted, according to a poll conducted for the Connecticut Mirror. By 53 to 37%, voters prefer Harris, 16 percentage points ahead of Donald Trump. That was 14 with Hillary Clinton and 20 for Joe Biden in 2020. My question, do you believe that 37% or 53% of nutmeggers support Kamala Harris? Is that number too high, considering what this state has gone through over the last 3.5 years? Do you think it's lower? Do you think it's higher? Let me know. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Now, again, let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher, who happens to be in the BPS Traffic Center.
That's right. Thank you, Reese. Just to make sure, if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now, overall, we're looking good except for one area, and that is 91 southbound in Windsor Locks. Serious accident earlier this afternoon between exit 41 and 40 on the southbound side of 91. Highway is shut down now because of that overturned motor vehicle. Highway shut down southbound 91 at exit 41. You've got delays back to 46 in Enfield behind that. A lot of folks jumping off onto Route 5 to get around that. After you get around that, slowing again in Hartford 33 to 32, again down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 48 Asylum. 84 eastbound, you got delays about a half mile before 46 Avenue down to the Bulkley Murphy Bridge. If you're traveling 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 north and southbound slowing at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 84 eastbound, a little tight in Waterbury by 18. 84 westbound is slowing by exit 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Danbury, slowing up 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound's tight 10 to 11 in Newtown. South 95 New Haven, slowing 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we head through the evening and overnight, mostly cloudy skies, a light breeze out of the east-northeast, and a comfortable low tonight down to 53. Take your umbrella when you head out the door. On our Wednesday, we'll have low clouds around throughout the day, couple of showers, especially late in the afternoon, the high 68. Thursday, cloudy, couple of showers, another good day to take the umbrellas at just in case, the high of 70. Partly sunny, warmer as we head into the weekend or the end of the week and then into the weekend on Friday. Less humid too, beautiful day for us to round out the week, the high 77. Saturday, partly sunny, pleasant, great day to be outdoors, the high 72, partly sunny. Another very pleasant day Sunday with the high of 73. Right now, New London at 64, so is Mansfield. Bristol 65 at 64 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't just live with foot pain. Find the Good Feet store nearest you at goodfeet.com.
Become a member at AmericanEagle.org.
I'm Todd Director from Connecticut Lighting Centers. In need of door, cabinet, or bath hardware, Connecticut Lighting Centers has you covered. See our amazing selection and let our professional staff help you for all of your decorative hardware needs. Connecticut Lighting Centers with showrooms in Hartford and Southington or online at ctlighting.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080. Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special, along with Dr. Alfie and Katie Neal, as we engage in this very meaningful conversation. Connect with us right here for I'm Listening.
September 26th at 7 p.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080, sponsored locally by Amplify.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
1 minute.
Leonard J. Petroselli was born in New Haven. After graduating from Wesleyan, he applied for work at the Travelers. He was hired and worked in the boiler insurance department. But as a talented writer and accomplished singer, he wanted a more creative outlet. He applied for an opening at WTIC as a script writer. He was told to write a sample script for a musical program. If the script was approved, he'd be hired. The script was not used. It was completely rewritten. But he was hired anyway as the first full-time continuity writer in New England. Petroselli's creativity was the guide for many of the station's most popular shows, like Quiz of Two Cities, Mind Your Manners, Songs from New England Colleges, and more. Over the course of 50 years, Petroselli held various management roles. In May 1978, he was named chairman of the board of the 1080 Corporation, a position he held until his death in 1982.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
Oh, man, we are back, and we only got a little bit of time left. It's already Tuesday. We got to slow it down. Just got to slow it down. As I said, there's an article, Hartford Courant today. I read it today, and I wasn't really going to get into it, but then I started reading deeper and deeper into the article, and the thing that struck me was this part, the second paragraph. Kamala Harris has a 53% to 37% lead against Donald Trump in the state. Now, again, the part that makes this weird is that Hillary Clinton, this is Connecticut, Hillary Clinton had a 14-point lead on Donald Trump in 2016. Joe Biden had a 20-point lead in 2020. And here's Kamala Harris with a 16 percentage lead, right in the middle. Just a little higher than Hillary Clinton, which doesn't make sense because Hillary Clinton, I mean, she might as well be from Connecticut, okay? I mean, let's be honest. She's a Connecticut liberal. She'd be at Sam Waterston's house. By the way, you know Sam Waterston, is he holding an event for her soon? Or has he already held it? I think it was last Saturday. Sam Waterston of Law & Order fame. I love that guy. Well, on Law & Order. Not a big fan today. But really? She's doing better than Hillary Clinton? I don't buy it. Just doesn't sound... I just... Michael B. in the chat room said, he says, no, that's way too high. I agree. Todd in my chat room, he just said, what was he writing? He goes, that number is way higher, 35%. But... And he said, with the exception of maybe his neighbor, I don't think that she's polling that well here. And he calls the woman down the road some sort of waffle. I can't say it on air, but it is hilarious. So I'm just asking you, 860-522-WTIC. With everything that Connecticut has experienced in the last 3.5 years, going on 4, Kamala Harris 53% in the state to Donald Trump's 37%. 860-522-WTIC. Fritz is in Berlin. Fritz, what do you say? Beekeeper?
Say it's all fiddlestick. Who trusts those polls in the first place?
I know, but I mean, come on. I mean, that number seems about far. I mean, doesn't seem that far-fetched, all things considered. I just don't agree with she had 2 points higher than Hillary Clinton in 2016 with Donald Trump. But, you know,
she must be giving away free caramello bars. Taco bars with the little camel toes they break off of them.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Before you guys were talking about her hand language.
Yeah.
You know who else does that, but it's even weirder?
Yes.
Chris Murphy. He shakes his head and blinks like he's a chicken about to lay an egg.
Yeah.
As he gets upset.
I've noticed that about him.
You can blink like the 80-year-old neighbor yelling at you for riding your bicycle in front of his house.
You guys are mean. Y'all are mean. You're a bunch of schoolyard bullies, all of you. Not to say I don't appreciate it, my friend. You got it, Fritz. Steve's in Hartford. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm all right. What do you think? This poll, is this out of touch with Connecticut?
No, I think so. Here's what I think. If I look at the past elections and stuff, it's always like 49 to 51%.
What? Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's always super close like that. And as far as Connecticut, we're always going to be a Democratic state.
Right.
But so I think it's probably accurate.
You think the margins are this? With somebody like Kamala Harris, who's now nationally recognized as kind of a dun-dun-dun, you think that the abject, like the sort of, what do I say, the apathy, for lack of a better word, or acrimony for Donald Trump, you believe that this woman has a 16-point lead even in spite of her being the incumbent?
I actually do, because here's one reason why.
Okay.
I think when we talk about popular vote, the popular vote really doesn't mean much anymore.
Right, of course.
Because Donald Trump won on the electoral vote.
Right.
And Hillary Clinton got the popular vote.
Right.
So to me, those, these Quinnipiac polls or whatever are coming out, they don't, what's going to happen in November? That's going to be when the rubber hits the road.
But I'm going to stick with your earlier sort of prognostication. You think it'll be razor thin when it's all said and done. You think it'll be like,
I do.
Okay, so it'd be maybe like 52-48 or something like that.
Yeah, and the margin of error is 2%.
Right. Indeed.
I wanted to say a comment about the other thing about the shelter thing.
Yeah.
I think one way to make a woman live in a shelter to be desperate.
Yeah.
I know this is too late, but one way to make a woman desperate is to restrict, I think, birth control. I think so. I did read an article that abortion deaths in women seeking abortions is blown out through the roof because women in southern states are going to, not real offices and doing whatever they're doing.
Right.
So, and to me, when I think about it, if I think about, look, I don't want to pay welfare. I don't want to pay to incarcerate somebody. I don't want to pay. So what happens? So what I'm thinking about is if you give them the cheap alternative early, right? Let's say, look, I got to put women's products in transgender bathrooms now in Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's a rule, right?
Yeah.
So why don't I give somebody the pill?
Methylprostone, or you talk about the abortion pill.
But what can make a woman desperate with a child, right? No
Poverty,
abortion,
no male companionship.
But the women in shelters are there because they're desperate at that
Right,
point.
of course.
An abusive husband, but I mean, their time is gone. What's done is done. The child is there. Whatever's happening.
Right.
Like most single women don't go to shelters. Okay.
Right.
Not that I know of. Okay, but when I think of a shelter, I'm thinking of a poor mom and her kids. Right. Now, it goes against the same thing. Look, I mean, housing a criminal is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if that criminal wasn't born, I wouldn't have to pay for that.
Oh my God, you're doing that's freakonomics. You know that's freakonomics, right?
I'm trying to make sense because what we do, we put all the abortion stuff back in the states. People are, young women are getting hurt and dying because of this. Now, and I don't know what side of this issue you're on. I'm not going to tell you where I go, but I think restricting things like that cause women to be put in a place where they have no choices. The only choice is maybe adoption.
I'm gonna push back on that, but I'm gonna wait until later. So here's what I'm gonna have you do, Steve. I like this conversation. Do you mind calling back at the other end of the other side of the half an hour? We could have a discussion about this.
I'll give it a shot, okay? If I'm not in my work or doing something crazy outside of my job, I will try to give you a call.
Try to call after like 5:35. I want to have this discussion with you because I want to push back on what you just said. I want you to hear me out on this. Like what would be the alternative? And I have some stats to back it up. But I want to have that conversation with you. Let me get to you on the other side of the half. Let's go to Rob, who's in the car. How are we doing, Rob?
First time, long time. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. Thank you for calling.
I'm going to lighten it up from the last caller.
Okay.
I jump back and forth between your show and a show that's on 1360.
Uh-huh.
And that particular person was talking today about the fact that Kamala Harris has claimed she worked at a McDonald's.
Yes.
but she won't be able to let us know which McDonald's it was.
Right.
So they were willing to say, why don't we let former president, hopefully future president, Trump, go work at McDonald's for 3 hours, and then he can claim he worked at McDonald's as well.
Right.
You know, he can do some fries.
Sure.
He can do some stuff like that. And I'm on a different topic because I'm on the last hour. I am a pretty calm male. I don't get in anyone's business.
Okay.
And over the recent few weeks, I've actually asked quite a few women friends of mine, what do you think? You're going to have the first female president.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that so exciting? And then they don't have anything to say. And I say, well, which female would you have liked to have been the first female president?
Uh-huh.
And I'll even throw out a few names to them. I'll say Oprah. I'll say Michelle Obama. I'll say Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'll say Clinton. And they don't have an answer. But if I bring up Trump, which I did with this particular person, she went on a total rampage about how she hates Trump, and I kept saying, I thought you would be happy to have the first female president. So what do you like about Kamala? And it was all anti-Trump. It wasn't anything.
So in essence, there was no reason, there was no rhyme. It was they just hate Trump, and they couldn't give anything concrete on their support for Kamala Harris.
That's true, and I think that might tie into what you're just talking about.
Oh no, it does. And in fact, I began the show. I began the show in my opening monologue talking about exactly this, and I think you nailed it on the head. Look, the one thing that I've always said about my wife is that sometimes I say to her, I don't understand what you're saying or what you mean, so it's hard to follow. I would say what we're experiencing is indicative of women on the level of voting out of emotion. But I believe that now it is too dire of a time as far as safety and finances are concerned. I don't believe in the idea that there are more women who are going to vote for Kamala Harris just on the sheer basis that she shares genitalia with women. I don't think that they want to do that, because when you stump them like that, you ask that question, what are the reasons you're supporting her? And you get this sort of vacant look. It's evident that they cannot, with any conviction, tell you why.
Correct.
So they can say that socially, oh, well, I want to support Kamala Harris, and then quietly vote for Trump. They never have to tell a soul. And I think the tell is that they can't articulate what is the reason they're voting for Kamala Harris. I'm going to play some audio in the second half. I hope you're listening. I'm going to play it. And this is a white male in his late 50s that sort of a man on the street. When you hear him, you will hear what every woman says about Kamala Harris and why these people are basing their opinion publicly on emotion. But I know that they're not voting. I know they're not going to the polling place and voting for her. I know for a fact that.
If I can give you one last thing, I did talk to a friend of mine who's a woman, and she said, I don't think a woman should ever be president.
Wow. I know. You know what?
And she was saying there's a lot of emotions and a lot of other things.
Rob, do not freak out when you hear that. I'm hearing that more often than I've ever. You would think suffrage never happened. I hear so many women saying that. Today, they go, a woman should never be, and I look at it, and they say it out in the public, will be out in the public square, and they say, a woman totally should not be president. And I go, and I look around, I'm the one who starts looking over my shoulder, waiting to be canceled.
Who's coming after me?
Wait, did you just say that out loud?
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's changing a lot. Thank you, Rob. Much appreciated. Mike,
I listen a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll get to Mike on the other side of the break. Let's get back into the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher, because we got some important traffic out there. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into downtown Harper right now, Reese is referring to a serious accident on the southbound side of I-91. That is in Windsor Locks right now. And if you are coming on the southbound side of 91, the highway shut down at exit 41 in Windsor Locks. This traffic report being brought to you by W.I. Clark Company. And we had an overturned motor vehicle accident between exit 41 and 40 earlier this afternoon. And right now you're seeing delays as pushing back to exit 46 King Street in Enfield as the highway is still shut down southbound 91 at exit 41. After that, some slow traffic in Hartford as you move down from 33 down to 32 A and B, and another slowdown by exit 28 on the Hartford-Weathersfield line. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slows a half mile before 46 Isson Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84 okay. 2 eastbound's a little slow between exit 5 and 5A in East Hartford. If you're traveling into Middletown, both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound also, you'll see some slow traffic as you move up by exit 32 in Berlin. Now, if you're heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound delays by 18, 84 westbound slowing 22 into the Mixmaster. If you're traveling on the eastbound side of 84, you're going to see delays as you move from exit 3 to 5 in Danbury. 84 eastbound again tied up from 10 to 11 in Newtown. And 91 in the Parkway moving well toward New Haven. South 95 New Haven slows 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
W.I. Clark. Call us or find us online at wiclark.com.
W.I. Clark provides superior equipment, parts, and service to the construction and landscape industry across Connecticut. We represent great brands like John Deere, Wirtgen, and Leeboy, and our employees have been the key ingredient behind our success since 1925. Online at wiclark.com.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of the afternoon, it remains mostly cloudy, the high of 69. Tonight, under mostly cloudy skies, the low dropping down to 53. Then Wednesday, low clouds with a couple of showers later in the afternoon, the high up to 70. Thursday, cloudy, a couple of showers around, the high right back to 70. Friday, beautiful day to round out the week. It'll be partly sunny, warmer, and less humid, the high of 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
65 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Trouble on I-91 South and Windsor Locks. It's been closed since mid-afternoon. There was an overturned vehicle with serious injuries reported. The highway is closed for the investigation, according to state police. Again, that's I-91 South and Windsor Locks closed in the area of Exit 40. Senators are taking a look at the price of popular prescription drugs.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders opened the hearing, drawing attention to the high costs of popular diabetes and weight loss drugs made by Novo Nordisk. A Senate committee report found the monthly price for Ozempic in the U.S. is more than $900, compared to $59 in Germany, while Wegovy costs over $1,300 in the U.S., compared to $92 in the U.K.
CBS's Natalie Brand. Tropical storm Helene has formed in the Caribbean. It could become a major hurricane while moving north towards the U.S., targeting Florida's Gulf Coast by Thursday. Florida has declared a state of emergency. Hurricane watches are in effect for parts of Cuba, Mexico, and a stretch of the Florida coastline, including Tampa Bay. Hurricane John killed at least 2 people in Mexico as it struck that country's Pacific coast.
Hurricane John caused mudslides, flooding, and material damages, but widespread casualties appear to be limited. Authorities said things could have been worse as the storm intensified to Category 3 in a matter of hours. A handful of coastal cities north of Oaxaca remain cut off, though the beach resorts were
Michael
spared.
B., the
Rivers
fact that
are
you
still
knew what the
rising,
word
leading
was that he
authorities
called
to
her.
caution people to wait. Adrian
That's
Bard,
so much
CBS
about
News,
you.
Mexico City.
North Haven police say they responded to a threat of gun violence this afternoon. Officers were at the shared middle and high school campus. There are no reports of actual violence. Police say someone contacted a veteran service crisis line saying they were going to the middle school for a shooting. The campus was put in a shelter in place. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 84 points to a record 42,208. S&P climbing 14 points to another record 5,733. The NASDAQ was up 100. Sports, Red Sox in Toronto, pregame just after 6 p.m. on WTIC. The Yankees can clinch the American League East in a first-round playoff bye. They host Baltimore. The Mets in Atlanta. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Did you know you can use your own body's healing properties to revitalize your achy joints and get real lasting joint pain relief? I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. If you're tired of arthritic pain, whether it's knees, hips, back, or shoulder, this is something you need to check out. And the consultation, by the way, is totally free. It's called regenerative medicine, and the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics are experts in these amazing treatments, and thousands across the country have benefited from it. You can enhance your joints, improve mobility, get back to doing the stuff you love without pain, without drugs, without surgery or downtime. You got to give them a call. The consultation is totally free. They are the nation's leader in this type of medicine. So give QC Kinetics a call. They're in Avon, they're in New Haven, and they're now in Glastonbury as well. It's 860-440-PAIN. Again, 860-440-PAIN. The company is QC Kinetics. That consultation is free. And that number, one more time, is 860-440-PAIN.
Space. 1 minute.
But it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles.
Highly logical.
Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills, too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting.
And 10 after the drop.
You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I got this thing looking weird over here. I was trying to fix it, and of course, I suck at doing this stuff. There you go. Much better now. Anyway, don't forget, you can always check us out at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Before we get into the into traffic, we got Mike in Plainville. Thanks for holding, Mike. How are you, sir?
I just learned that Roland's a scratch bowler. He averages 205.
Yeah, that's a hell of a bowler. Exactly. I told him I'd be lucky if I get like 85.
I was surprised he answered today. Usually he doesn't. How come he answered today?
Probably because he was on vacation the last time, or somebody else was answering the phones.
I'll tell you what. Connecticut is not aggressive from top to bottom. From the governor, now he looks around. Let's see what New York and Massachusetts and New Hampshire's doing. And then that's how this is why you say the 53% are going to vote for Harris, the women.
Yeah, according to the poll.
They're too lazy to do any research. Is it 53%?
Yeah, it's 53. In fact, let me read it here. I think the number is 53 to a marginal, 37 for Donald Trump.
I've already heard a lot of lame excuses why people are going to vote for her. But when you challenge these people, okay?
Yeah.
What are her policies for the future? They look at you. They can't answer you now. If you ask a Trump supporter, what's he want to do? There's a list. You've seen the list.
A comprehensive list, and not only that, some people can commit it to, or have committed it to memory, because again, he's everywhere talking about it. He's always answering questions. He's obviously does interviews. So he's everywhere. So we got one person who's in hiding and another person who's everywhere. So of course, she's leaving it to even her supporters to be dumbfounded in answering the question about who she is or what she stands for.
I think he was on the Big Show on Fox. He did a great job, Trump.
I didn't see that.
Was it Saturday night, Friday or Saturday night?
Yeah, Saturday night it comes on.
I think he was on for the whole hour.
Oh, all right. I got to check that out. No, I'll definitely check that out.
Here's the thing. These people are so stupid. I could tell them that I'm a Nordic-looking alien named Thor from the star system Pleiades, and they believe me.
Mike, before you literally start considering the spitting of hot fire, I've got to get into the BPS traffic support, but I love making sure that you get it. God bless you, sir.
Okay.
That boy Mike, he spits hot lava. Hot lava, I have to admit. Let's get back to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. This traffic report being brought to you by Cape Cod Fence, and we're still dealing with this problem. 91 southbound in Windsor Locks. A serious accident occurred earlier this afternoon. Southbound 91 between exit 41 and 40, overturned motor vehicle. Right now, 91 south is shut down at exit 41. You'll have to jump off the highway there. Delays back to 46 King Street in Enfield behind that, and a lot of folks jumping onto Route 5 to get around this. Try to avoid that area if you can. Southbound 91's a little slow at 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is slowing, approaching the Bulky Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays 46 into the tunnel. 291 through 84 moving well east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound losing a little speed between 17 and 18. Westbound 84 slowing 22 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury got some slow traffic 3 to 5 on the eastbound side of 84. Again, a little slow in Newtown from exit 9 up to exit 11. Southbound Parkway tight by 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound New Haven, you're on the brakes from 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by Cape Cod Fence, more than just fences.
Cape Cod Fence Company in Canton has been Connecticut's premier fencing contractor since 1956. Quality craftsmanship, products that last for years, and the local team known for expert installation. Check us out at capecodfence.com. Cape Cod Fence Company.
WTIC.
All right, as we head through the evening and overnight, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cool and comfortable with the low down to 53. Take your umbrella when you head out the door on our Wednesday. Low clouds, couple of showers, especially later in the afternoon, the high 68. Thursday, cloudy, couple of showers again, slightly milder, the high up to 70. Then Friday, looking good, warmer, less humid, a partly sunny day, very pleasant to round out the week, the high 77. Saturday, partly sunny, a great early fall weekend here for us, the high 72 Saturday, partly sunny again on Sunday, another very pleasant day with the high of 73. And very similar Monday, partly sunny, the high right back to 73. So a gorgeous early fall weekend ahead for us right now. Waterbury 63, Danbury 64, Hartford also 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Leonard J. Petroselli was born in New Haven. After graduating from Wesleyan, he applied for work at the Travelers. He was hired and worked in the boiler insurance department. But as a talented writer and accomplished singer, he wanted a more creative outlet. He applied for an opening at WTIC as a script writer. He was told to write a sample script for a musical program. If the script was approved, he'd be hired. The script was not used. It was completely rewritten. But he was hired anyway as the first full-time continuity writer in New England. Petroselli's creativity was the guide for many of the station's most popular shows, like Quiz of Two Cities, Mind Your Manners, Songs from New England Colleges, and more. Over the course of 50 years, Petroselli held various management roles. In May 1978, he was named chairman of the board of the 1080 Corporation, a position he held until his death in 1982.
Traffic is sponsored by Indeed. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates, all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
With fall around the corner and everyone back to their busy routines, finding time for dental care can be tough. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester is open 7 days a week with late hours. Get the care you need when it's convenient for you. Call 860-730-6030 or ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Philo's got a minute for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best
Did
drama,
you lose
true
bad?
crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. Get started today and unlock our library of
One leg. I just needed one more touchdown.
and save all your favorites with
On 2 different tickets.
You can rewatch them anytime, anywhere.
Like, damn.
For a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's PHILO.tv.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, I got to get into this audio real quick before I take the last 2 calls. This goes to the heart of what I was talking about with Kamala Harris. And this is a 50-something-year-old white male in Washington, D.C. And he's being asked about his support for Kamala Harris. Listen closely.
Do you support Kamala Harris?
I do.
Why?
The fact that she's female, the fact that she's a person of color, she's strong, but also has empathy.
How do you feel Kamala Harris has empathy when she kept people in jail longer than they should have for minor drug possessions?
Ooh, well, there you go. Honestly, I haven't done the research on stuff like that.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Okay? So when people learn stuff like that, then they're educated to it, then they think about it. When they get into polling places, I don't trust them. I just don't. I don't trust them to do what they say they're going to do. Bob's in Middlefield. Thank you for holding, Bob. How are you, sir?
I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in this whole situation. I don't believe there's going to be an election.
Really?
I'll tell you the reason. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the reason why. I think we're on the bridge, we're on the brink of World War III over in the Middle East. And everybody's eyes are not on the prize, which could be a massive World War III scenario that actually does shut down. And, we can have sirens. We can have.
You're talking martial law? You're talking about martial law or something worse?
Something like martial law. Okay, that's one scenario. The second scenario I'm thinking of is you got the BRICS countries. It's about 80 of them. And they're going to flip the whole monetary standard of living that we have. We'll go away from the fiat. The petrodollar is dead, basically. And on October 1st, we're looking at the complete dissolution of or bankruptcy of the United States corporation, if you will.
And you think that's going to happen in a matter of weeks?
October 1st, we're looking at a scenario where we're actually going to run out of money. Congress is just flailing. They don't know what the heck they're doing. And here's the third scenario, and nobody's bringing this up, but there's a little-known Supreme Court case, and I've said it before on other shows.
Okay.
It's called the Brunson case. Look it up.
Okay.
Lloyd Brunson. Supreme Court, I heard through the backdoor channels that I know of and done my research, has already ruled on it. And what that means is that 80%, 90% of Congress will have to step down. The reason being is that they violated their oath of office, basically. When Ted Cruz, remember the whole J6, and they were going to just say the certification of President Biden?
Right.
That whole routine. They were supposed to take 10 days off. Okay, and this is what they had back in Congress way back when, about 100 years ago. They did the same scenario. I think it was around 1871 or something like that. I think it was Taft or one of those presidents, and they did the same thing. Oh, Tilton. It was Tilton, and they awarded it to another president. But anyway, make a long story short, they followed the rules of the Constitution, took the 10 days off, and really did the research and certified the election. So in other words, this was not really a certified election. It was passed along by Congress, but they didn't do the investigation that Ted Cruz wanted them to do.
Okay.
And
all right. Well, these
are
are all interesting. These are all interesting scenarios, but I will look into every one of them. I don't think that we're at the brink of World War III as of yet. And I'll, I've given that reason before, but I get where you're coming from. Although I don't believe that the petrodollar is going to change from the U.S. dollar. I think you're right in the fact that it's at risk strongly, especially because of BRICS. That's the whole idea. I think when China met with Putin, what was it, a couple of years ago, saying that we were going to be changing 100 years of precedent, they caught him saying, or they translated him saying to Putin. You're absolutely right. That is under risk. But I'm going to look at that Supreme Court ruling as well. But I appreciate the call.
You bet.
Thank you, man. All right, Steve in Hartford is back. So Steve and I were having a discussion about the about abortion in the country. Steve, I'm going to throw a scenario at you.
You got it.
And this is based upon a sort of, I call it it was a poll, but it was unscientific, but there were at least about 60 men involved. Of various backgrounds, minorities, but various backgrounds. They were Latino, Indian, and when I say Indian, from India, African Americans. And I asked this question of all of them. If there was no invention of abortion, in essence, you got pregnant, you had to have the child, would that mean that you would be cautious when engaging with a young lady sexually? 9 out of 10 polled and said absolutely. And I said, in what way? And I asked various of them. Many of them said that they would do things like wait until marriage. Many of them, of course, talked about using protection. When I threw protection out of the scenario, then many of them said that I would be extremely cautious about me engaging in sexual activity with those women. So when you take away the safety nets, as it were, people behave more responsibly. I look at it like skydiving. If you found out that anybody could take you up skydiving, and you had to trust that they packed your parachute correctly, fewer people would skydive. But because there's professionalism involved, more and more people will try it. Not as many as you think, but more and more people try it because, again, there are more safety precautions. I think that's a human nature thing. And abortion, as you say, we start taking away certain things that people are going to bleed in the alleyway. That's what we're told all the time. If you take away abortion, women are going to have abortions in the alleyway. That's never been true. In fact, we're not even seeing that today. It's been 2 years since Roe v. Wade. We're not seeing that. When you take away those safety nets, people behave more responsible. Pregnancy is not something that happens like cancer or sickle cell. You're not born with it. You're not afflicted with it. You have to engage in an act before you become pregnant. And when you don't have that safety, when you don't have that provision where you can abort your child with a pill or with a procedure, people behave more responsibly. Girls are going, oh, nope, I ain't getting pregnant. Abortions aren't legal in my state. So you see what I'm saying here?
I got your point, and I totally agree with it. The only issue I have with it, is that we're holding everybody accountable.
We should be holding everyone accountable.
Right. We should, but we don't.
Oh, okay.
The problem is it's happening, and you're right on point. You are exactly right on point. But I think that theory comes to play if everybody's on the up and up.
When you say on the up and up, can you elaborate a little?
Yeah, like if there isn't a bunch of gross teenagers out there who just want to,
fool around,
do whatever they want to do. I mean, we were all young once too,
right?
So you're right, Reed. You're exactly right. Hey, look, I had kids out of wedlock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I literally took them away from their mother because I had to, because they weren't going to grow up right.
Right.
Okay. Did I go back and start doing anything after that? Absolutely not. Geez, when I got into my long-term relationship now, that took almost a year for me to feel comfortable enough because I was so worried. But I would use, like, not only was I using a condom,
right,
but I was using a condom that had the spermicide on it.
Right.
That's how paranoid I was.
Right. But see, But look,
But I got it.
what we need to do, and I think that this is, again, I think as a society, Steve, what we've gone is that we've strayed away from accountability, because what many people are doing, and I say this, it's not just on the left. I see it in some people on the right. That, and again, in trying to be a kinder and gentler union, so to speak, or try to be a kinder and gentler society, we find ourselves making excuses for people's bad behavior. We don't understand that we're insulting their intelligence by suggesting they don't know any better, or that's a cultural thing that's acceptable in their environment. We have to get rid of those. We have to get rid of what's called those norms. I used to say this when I was on the hip hop station in New York. I said, when you start normalizing the term baby mama, you're going to create an atmosphere where kids naturally think that they're supposed to be in single parent households. And I spoke to a young kid where I said, do you know any one of your friends who live in a 2-parent household? And he said this to me. I wish I was exaggerating, Steve. He said, I always thought it was natural for you to live with your mom and just your mom.
Yep.
And I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, but you're exactly right. You're exactly right, Reese. But this is the thing I think about, like with like food stamps, welfare. People are taxing the system because they're gaming the system. Okay.
Right.
And if everybody was on the up and up, think about how little our credit card fees would be, how low our insurance rates would be. Just think about if everybody was our government, we wouldn't be wasting trillions of dollars a year on nonsense, right? But everybody's not on them. So everybody is not held accountable. Look at the Karen videos you can watch on YouTube, and they think they're right. They think they're right.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like back and forth, Democrat or Republican, they think they're right and they're pointing the finger at you, and then the other guy thinks they're right and they're pointing the finger at you. Hey, one last thing I want to say, Reese. I loved your point. One last thing about the last, when I hear about callers and stuff, when we talk about like, hey, that caller is stupid or whatever. I want to say one thing. I live on a pretty busy street. I see Trump flags. I see Harris flags. And as a good neighbor, let me tell you something. I don't give a crap what flag you're flying out there, LBGT, whatever. If your house is burning, dude, I'm going in. If your kid gets beat up or something like that, I don't give a crap what flag you have on. I can help. That's the thing we as Americans have to get back. We have to get back into being caring for each other.
I really do believe, that point is well taken, and I agree with you. I did a show back in 2008 talking about one of my biggest problems growing up today is that we don't know who our neighbors are, and because we become so isolated and more into our computers than we are with our fellow man, that we find our livelihood inside our little phones, and we don't get to. I know everybody who lives in my neighborhood. I made that as soon as I bought my house. I made sure I introduced myself to everyone, and I see them. In fact, my neighbor just brought over some bread today before I started the show. I love that because I believe in a sense of community, because I believe if the aliens come down, I need to know who's got guns and who's got ammunition and who's got food. I just believe in that. And I love what you just said, that people, I believe on the ground level, regardless of what we see in our media, on the ground level, I think that everybody is just like you said. I think if they saw their neighbor's house burning, they would help, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
You got it, brother. Have a blessed day. Love the show. Love you, Reese. Have a great day. Buddy.
Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated, and thanks for calling back. I'm telling you, again, thank you, as always. If I don't tell you guys thank you enough, I just want to tell you thank you again. All right? What you guys do for me every day when I leave the show. I'm sweating now in this, like, it's air conditioning here. That's how charged I get when I'm on this microphone. I'm always excited. And then I'm heartbroken when I get off it. I mean, really. When I'm off the show, I'm heartbroken. A little part of me dies. But there's
3 more days.
Shut up. 3 more days. Roland, you're such a buzzkill. Jeez, such a buzzkill. All right, I love you all, as I always say. Anyway, as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good day and a pleasant tomorrow. And He's Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Any updates on that accident, Mark?
Yeah, it's still working there. Unfortunately, Reese, serious accident that occurred earlier this afternoon has 91 southbound shut down in Windsor Locks. This traffic report being brought to you by Joe the Plumber for fast, friendly, and reliable plumbing services. Visit calljoetheplumber.com. And if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, southbound 91 continues to be shut down in Windsor at exit.
All right, sir. You enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
Between 41 and
You're like rubbing it into 3 days. I love it. Be good, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
You get a good ride down into Cromwell. Northbound 91 looks real good now. Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 94, a little slowdown as you approach the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford into the tunnel. 84 eastbound, that looks good. Once again, just a slight slowdown as you move into the Hartford Tunnel. East of the river, you're moving well. East Hartford, Manchester into Vernon. 2 eastbounds looking good. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet.
Okay. All right, everybody. Y'all be good. See you mañana. Also, check me out on Pastor Will's show tomorrow at 9:30. I'll be on with Pastor Will talking about all this and so much more. All right. Love you guys. Be good.